One more time around with the Mets and the Braves, and the brooms have come out. Travis d'Arnaud has been hot, and the Mets are looking for a big-time sweep. It's been 25 years since the Mets have swept 4 from the Atlanta Braves, and they've got that opportunity here tonight. At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Atlanta Braves as we present Mets Plus, a unique broadcast filled with enhanced content brought to you exclusively by Citi. And these are some of the enhanced elements that'll come your way tonight. A live interview with Dylan G. Terry Collins live from the dugout. Ron Darling will be teaching you about pitching. Bobby Abreu live. Former Met John Matlack on the telephone. And we'll get you ready for tonight's Battle of the Broadcasters. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Ron Darling, Keith Hernandez with you tonight as the Mets go for the unlikely 4-game sweep of the Atlanta Braves. This has arguably been the Mets' best week of the season, and they've done it both with pitching, which they've had all year, and with the offense.
Well, the offense is starting to get hot right now, Gary, and I think that they're getting more aggressive. We've been noticing it since the hitting coach changed. Lamar Johnson is preaching a little more aggressiveness, still the same philosophy. I think there's a couple things that are very important about what's happening right now with this Met club, and they've been a club that's been up and down. Number one, obviously, is the offense. Number two is they were swept in Atlanta by this Brave team, and they're at the top of they're in Washington. They come back here, they're ready for a sweep. This lets them kind of know that, hey, we can play with you guys. I think that's very critical for this club's confidence. And another thing, too, home, where they've had so much difficulty over the last 2-3 years. They've now 500 at home. They've had a couple good homestands in a row, building up the confidence.
5-1 on this current homestand. And the Mets have gotten good starting pitching all year. But with the return of Dylan G last night, they're on a real roll right now.
Well, it's been fantastic. 3 straight games in a row, 7 innings plus. And when you think about tonight's pitcher, he is averaging about 6 2/3 per start. Bartolo Colon has had a rough go of it lately. 5 runs given up in his last 2 starts, and it's mostly been the first inning for Colon. 16 runs in his 17 starts this year.
So Colon will try and get off to a better start, and the Mets will face a former teammate, Aaron Harang, who last time the Mets faced him, held him without a hit.
Well, Harang has been a godsend, really, for the Braves. It's been a strange season. He's either been on top of his game or in the middle of this year. He struggled a little bit, but 8 wins is 8 wins, and he's been good for the Braves.
So it's the Mets and Braves wrapping up their series at Citi Field as the Mets go for the 4-game sweep. Mets, Braves, all the action coming your way on SNY. on SNY is brought to you by Citi. Every time the Mets hit a home run at Citi Field, Citi will make a $2,000 donation to a local community partner, courtesy of the Citi Thank You program. Track donations at Mets.com/Citi. And to kick off tonight's Mets Plus broadcast, we're pleased to have Ed Schuyler, former New York City deputy mayor and now executive vice president at Citi. And, you know, Ed, Citi has its name on the stadium here, but what else does Citi do to stay involved in the community?
That's a great question. One of the things that we're proud of is the impact we're having in communities. One of them specifically is our Citi Small Business Call-Up program, which we actually launched this year. And there we went online and had a contest and had New Yorkers vote on their favorite small business restaurant. And we're giving them a spot at Citi Field for the rest of the season. And Corfu Grill from Forest Hills, Queens, a Greek restaurant, won, and they're going to be here for the rest of the season. And it's one of the ways that we can support New York City businesses and support the community.
Well, that's terrific. And I know that you grew up a big Met fan. What are your best memories of being a Met fan?
Best memory had to be Game 6 in 1986 and that comeback. It was an exciting time. But specific, you know, the Mookie Wilson at bat and the whole, really that World Series was a fun time in New York City's history. It was a fun time to be a fan.
Now, I know you spent about a decade in Mayor Bloomberg's administration as deputy mayor, and you had an opportunity to throw out a first pitch here?
I did. It was a lot of fun, and one of the things I learned is when you throw out a first pitch, everybody just tells you not to put it in the dirt. So I think I successfully avoided that, and it was a fun time for me and my family.
Tell me a little bit more about what Citi's objective is in connecting New York City with what goes on here at the ballpark.
So one of the things that we want to do is obviously provide benefits for Citi clients, but beyond that, we want to make an impact in the community and some of the philanthropic partners. You mentioned the home run program we have now, where anytime a Met player hits a home run at Citi Field, we make a donation to either the YMCA, United Neighborhood Houses, the USO, or City Harvest. So it gives fans and New Yorkers one more reason to cheer when there's a home run. And Lucas Duda, I think, has the most home runs at 8, and there have been 37 so far, so we've given $74,000 through that program, plus an additional grant on top of that. So it's just about really giving back to the community, getting New Yorkers excited, and making sure that they know that this is a place to have fun and really have great memories.
And thanks so much for joining us tonight. Thanks for Citi being a part of this special broadcast.
Thank you very much for having me.
That's Ed Schuyler with Citi, and through their small business call-ups program, Citi is enhancing the fan experience at Citi Field. Let's take a look. Bartolo Colon taking the mound, looking to snap a personal 2-game losing streak and enhance the Mets' longest winning streak of the season. Mets have won 4 straight for the first time since last July. Won the final game of the series from Texas on Sunday, and then took the first 3 of this series from the Braves and looking to complete the sweep. Braves starting lineup brought to you by Citi. One change, Ramiro Pena will play third base, giving Chris Johnson a day off and give the Braves an extra left-handed bat on the lineup against Cologne. Atlanta had won 9 in a row before Sunday, and now they've lost 4 straight, and they've slipped out of first place in the National League East. DJ Upton already getting himself ready.
Well, Bartolo Colon had a stretch of 7 starts where he was 6-0. His ERA was about 1.5, but he's come back to the pack his last 2 starts, looking to get back to that place here against the Braves, going for the sweep.
And we'll take a look at the Citi New York Metropolitan defense. Eric Young out in left field, giving the Mets a little more speed. He's hitting 9th tonight in that lineup, as Gary told you. And the same infield. They've been going on full cylinder. And Darno, the big hero last night, get the 2-run shot. He's going to play. And he's moved up in the order, as Gary told you.
Actually, I've told you none of that. But I'm glad that you were able to.
You didn't read the lineup yet?
For the Braves.
Oh, that's right.
Mets have not batted yet.
Well, I was kind of collecting myself here.
I know. It's difficult to get started on a night like this, but we'll get you up to speed.
Well, things are a little different today. We got this Citi uninterrupted broadcast tonight. There's a lot going on, Gary.
I'm very nervous because tonight, after we're all said and done here, it's the battle of the broadcasters, and I'm anxious to see who wins.
You're very funny. You know, folks, you don't realize Gary's got a very wry sense of humor.
Does that make you my foil?
Like Ryan Pastrami? Makes you my friend.
Cologne's first pitch of the night is taken high by B.J. Upton, and we're underway. Upton 5 for 14 in this series with a double and an RBI. He's been thriving in the leadoff spot. A relatively new position in the batting order for him this year. Ball and a strike to Upton. Well, Cologne's first inning woes have been well documented. Gave up 4 in the first against Texas in his last start, 3 in the first in his previous start. And tonight, hoping for better beginnings.
Ronnie, question for you, and I'm sure you've been down this road. If you were in similar circumstances where you've had a couple outings in a row where you're not getting out of the gate, is there anything you're trying to do to correct that? Obviously, you're going to try to correct it.
Well, there are a few things you can do, and I've done it before, where you struggle early. I go out in the bullpen, I warm up, but then I sit down for about 10-15 minutes, almost to replicate what you do in the first inning, then get back up and throw. So it's almost like you took care of the first inning, and when you go out there, you're starting anew.
Really? That's interesting.
17 starts, 16 runs allowed, including 6 first-inning home runs Cologne has yielded this year. Upton keeps the at-bat alive. Well, now, Upton began last night's game with a 10-pitch plate appearance, drew the only walk that Dylan G gave up all night, and then G was incredibly economical after that. Freddie Gonzalez's team has seen their situational hitting dry up in this series after doing very well with that during a 9-game winning streak.
Well, a lot of that has to do with the pitching.
On the outside corner, and Upton's retired to start the night.
Well, there's that movement on that fastball.
Starts it outside with a 2-seamer. It'll dart back over that outside corner and splits d'Arnaud in 2. There's the release of that 2-seamer. It's always going to come back just a little bit, and Upton gives up on it.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Andrelton Simmons. Simmons came into the series a hot hitter. He had 6 straight multiple hit games, but just 2 for 14 in these 3 games. Simmons at .259 for the year.
Very long swing. I know I feel like a broken record, but you know there's some of you folks out there that maybe missed the first 3 games. By the way, the Mets won the first 3. They're going for a sweep tonight. And last year when he came out, this man had a much shorter swing, had some home runs, and he's gotten very long.
Do you think that's the seduction of the home run?
I do, and I think that particularly in today's player more than anything, and you talk to a lot of hitting coaches around the league, a lot of scouts, the guys are home run happy. They want to hit the bomb.
Inside out swing, and he gets it under Murphy's glove for a base hit. Odd looking cut by Simmons, but it's a productive one, and the Braves have the first base runner of the night.
Well, usually Murph will dive for this ball, but he didn't get there. You always see Murph doesn't like to be, he's one of those guys that doesn't want to leave the game and to have a clean uniform. He's like Pigpen in the Peanuts cartoons. Inside out right there, which is a shorter swing, which is what I think Simmons needs to do.
So here is Freddie Freeman, who went 0 for 4 last night, which snapped a string of 26 straight games where he had reached base. Freeman has been such an enormous pest for the Mets. Takes inside corner for a strike, 0-1.
That's that pitch that gets that left-hander, starts it at the hip, and it comes back over on the inside corner. And what Cologne does so well is he doesn't miss over the middle. He's really good with it.
Freeman cracks one toward the right field line, and that'll go all the way back to the wall. Simmons got a good break. Granderson has trouble picking it up, and Simmons will score all the way from first. 1-0 Atlanta. A cracking double off the bat of Freddie Freeman drives in the game's first run, and Cologne's first inning woes continue.
Right down the pipe there. Wanted to come in. I just mentioned how good he is with that fastball inside. d'Arnaud set up in. Look where it starts out. It doesn't even start out on the inside corner. So it really bleeds over the middle. and it's a fat pitch to hit.
So Freeman has his 27th double, his 50th run batted in of the year, and the Braves off to a fast start. Now Justin Upton, 6 for 14 in this series.
And again, against Cologne early in games, we see clubs that are very aggressive. They don't want to get deep in the count because they know Cologne's throwing strikes.
Cologne rides one inside, a ball and a strike to Upton. The Braves as a team in this series are 4 for 31 with runners in scoring position. It's been a problem for Freddie Gonzalez's team most of the year. They got hot with runners in scoring position during that 9-game winning streak, but they have certainly cooled down in this series.
Well, they're a team that strikes out a lot. They're all or nothing. And as you mentioned yesterday, Gary, they miss Gaddis right now, who's on the DL. He was their home run leader, tied for the home run lead when he went down for the team. And they rely on the long ball, and they strike out. So they're not going to be a lot of clutch hitters.
He's clutch.
Freeman's clutch, yes.
Cologne ahead 1-2 on Upton. On the inside corner, and Cologne has struck out 2 Uptons in the inning.
Has he got something against them?
100th strikeout for Justin Upton this year.
Struck out BJ on a fastball away and Justin on a fastball in.
So nothing has changed. 2 strikes ahead in the count. The hitter's going to be more vulnerable inside, and he paints it. Look, there's no more black on the plate. That's, you can't say paint the black anymore.
You can. Just won't be literally true.
Well, we have to be precise in our analysis. Otherwise, we're criticized.
Jason Hayward. A little criticism never bothered you before. Hayward 5 for 13 in the series, and he hits the breaking ball foul.
Well, they're coming out swinging. They did this last night. I felt that a sense of urgency. Upton led off the game, I believe, with a walk. Immediately on the first pitch, stole second. I think they wanted to set the tone after dropping the first 2 games here to the Mets. A little stunner for them. And then the Mets just come back and beat them up. All good.
It's a nice low view. Hayward waiting. He takes inside, a ball and a strike. Hayward 1 for 8 in his career against Cologne. 3rd start for Cologne against the Braves this year. He shut him out for 7 in Atlanta on the first road trip of the year, and then 11 days later gave up 3 runs in 7 innings, a win and a loss. Tommy La Stella would be next. A run home for the Braves here in the opening inning. 1-1 to Hayward. And he fights one off, and that'll dunk into left for a base hit. Freeman around third and heading home. Eric Young's throw to the plate. The deke by d'Arnaud, but Freeman's safe anyway. And down to second base goes Hayward. It's 2-0 Atlanta. d'Arnaud tried to deke Freeman into thinking there was no play, but Freeman came in hard.
Okay, now this is a blooper. 2 outs. Look at Freeman already rounding second. This is so ill-advised. Now, number one, if you're going to throw home, you've got to hit the cutoff man. This is a short throw, so the runner doesn't advance. So there was 2 boo-boos here. And Hayward takes advantage, and he's a base hit away from making it 3-0.
It's 18 runs now for Cologne in his 18 starts in the first inning.
So a single for Hayward, an RBI, second on the throw, and now Tommy La Stella. 4 for 12 in the series.
Well, you can see, watch where Freeman is right there. He's already rounded third. No chance, even though the play was closer. But you've got to make this throw. You've got to make sure you hit the cutoff man. It should have gone to second base. I'm not going to belabor the point.
I was just thinking the only way to stop that run from scoring is if d'Arnaud blocks the play without the ball.
Not allowed.
Can't do.
Well, it's in the rule book. You can't do that anyway. They just never enforced it.
Yeah, they never called it before this year. 0-2 to La Stella. Colon trying to fight his way through the inning and takes a look back at Hayward. Hayward, born in New Jersey. La Stella, born and raised in New Jersey. And that's on the inside corner, so Colon gets 3 whole third strikes in the inning, but sandwiched in between, the Braves score a pair, ruining another first inning for Bartolo Colon. RBI hits for Freeman and Hayward, and Aaron Harang jumps out to a 2-0 lead as he gets to take the mound for the bottom of the first. Well, the Mets have had themselves quite a week so far against the Braves. Opening game of the series, they wore the camo uniforms and they walked off for the win, courtesy of Ruben Tejada. Game 2 of the series, Jacob deGrom was stellar, and the Mets offense was better than they've been all year with a season-high 18 hits. And then last night, Dylan G off the disabled list, and the Mets got offense late. Big home run for Travis d'Arnaud, Henry Mejia the save. And the Mets had themselves a 4-1 win and 3 straight wins against the Braves after the Braves swept the Mets last week in Atlanta. There's your city starting lineup for the Mets tonight. Now, this is the first time that Terry Collins has had the pitcher batting 8th for a pitcher other than deGrom or Neese. A little harder to do with Colon, who doesn't handle the bat well, but he likes Young in that 9 hole and Granderson in the leadoff spot so much that he's willing to do it tonight. The other keynote in that lineup, Travis d'Arnaud hitting 5th for the first time.
Well, Aaron Harang is going to pitch for the Atlanta Braves tonight. In his career, he's 4 games under 500, 118 wins, 122 losses. He's been very good for the Braves this season. The one number that jumped out at me, other than the numbers you see there, 9 wild pitches, 8 wild pitches on the season. You've got to be alive on the bases.
And the defense, the city defense for the Bravos. They're not going to change anything even after losing 3 straight after the hot streak. Same outfield. Only change is Ramiro Pena at third base, giving Chris Johnson a rest, and the left-hand hitter in the lineup. And Betancourt has been getting a lot of playing time with Gaddis on the DL.
Now, Irvin Santana was going great guns for 6 innings last night. Inning 7 didn't really help him.
I will say, though, the Mets took some great at-bats off Lucas Duda on that changeup that got David Wright over, and then Neuenhuis with the sacrifice fly. We didn't really get to talk about that. Those little situational, critical at-bats got Dylan G the win.
Granderson has homered twice in this series, 4 hits and 13 at-bats. You go back the last 33 games now, Granderson has an on-base percentage of .406 and a slugging percentage of .575. So for the better part of 5 weeks now, he has been on fire. Granderson, Murphy, and Wright against Harang, who last time he pitched here at Citi Field did not allow a hit. Was taken out with a no-hitter intact after 7 innings because he had walked 5 and thrown 121 pitches.
Now, Harang was the guy that was signed late when the 2 starters went down with second Tommy John. That's Beachy. And
Medlin.
And Medlin. It was a late pickup. Would you take 8 games from him right now?
Well, he's been a savior of their staff.
Yeah, holy cow.
He was in spring training with Cleveland. They released him with about a week to go in spring training, and the Braves, who had a need and had already signed Santana, pounced on Harang as well. Granderson hits one out to right center, and B.J. Upton easing back for the first out.
Harang has changed a little bit since the Mets first saw him. Roger McDowell, great sinker baller for the Mets in his day, has been working with Harang. He's been throwing many more 2-seam fastballs, getting a lot more ground balls.
And that's it's interesting because Harang has always been a fly ball pitcher. I mean, his fly ball, ground ball stats have always been heavily skewed toward fly balls, but in his last start against Arizona, he got 18 outs on the ground, the most he's ever had in his major league career.
Well, the first thing that we noticed was he's starting to throw a little sink piece. And what better guy to teach a sinker than the pitching coach for the Atlanta Braves and former teammate Roger McDowell, who had one of the best sinker balls in the National League in baseball. Hard sinker. He's done a terrific job, Roger, here with the Bravos.
Murphy 5 for 14 in the series. Takes inside a ball and a strike. Like many Mets, Murphy's got some great career numbers against Harang. David Wright's are off the charts. Murphy, though, 6 for 17 with a home run.
So Harang used to be a big hard thrower. I remember watching him. He pitched against the Mets when he was with Oakland a long time ago, earlier in the century, and he was a flamethrower.
Sharp ground ball, but LaStella able to reach out for it, and that's the second out.
You know, guys, his best years were in Cincinnati when he routinely would win 15 games and strike out over 200. So it's not that easy a move to go to a pitcher and say, listen, you know all those strikeouts which were near and dear to you? Get rid of those. Go for the ground ball. Got one right there.
Well, the upshot of it is that his home run rate is lower than it's ever been before. He's kind of gave up 35 home runs in a season when he pitched in Cincinnati. He's given up only 8 this year.
And should reduce his pitch count also.
So here's Wright, 4 for 12 in this series with a double and a home run. 11 for 26 against Harang. That's a .423 lifetime average against this right-hander. Well, we mentioned that Colon has given up a lot of first-inning runs. The Mets have scored more first-inning runs than any team in baseball, 62 of them.
When you got numbers like that, you get a subway pass, 777, Uber, whatever you need to get Aaron to the ballpark. Huge numbers by David.
LaStella, though, had him played perfectly and picks up the sharp grounder and throws him out. So a couple of hard hit grounders in the inning, but the Mets are down 1-2-3. So the Mets trail 2-0 after 1. Now let's check in with Steve Gelbs, who's standing by with last night's winning pitcher. Steve.
Thanks a lot, Gary. Dylan, quite a return from the DL yesterday. It looked fantastic. Did it feel as good as it looked?
You know, I did. I felt good out there, and I felt like I kind of got in a groove as the game went on. And, you know, more than anything, though, just felt to get back out there and compete in the big leagues.
Was there anything on your end that you don't think was quite there? You looked like you were in midseason form, but was there anything maybe subtle that you're going to need to improve upon as you move forward here?
I mean, everything. I always want to improve upon everything I'm going out there. You know, that's a good thing about being a perfectionist is you know, out of 80-something pitches, you're never going to execute every single one of them. So, you know, the goal is to execute 100% of your pitches, and so there's always something to work on.
You and I have talked a lot about this in the last week or so, but this was a very different DL stint for you. You've been injured in the past, but it's been season-ending injuries. So what did you learn from this stint where you had to come back mid-season and ramp it up again, and what was the biggest challenge?
You know, I think the biggest thing was being able to not mentally shut down. You know, you leave in the middle of the season, and you know you're going to be able to come back, and so you just try to stay mentally sharp and keep working on the middle side of the game, and just hopefully when you're healthy you get back and you're back to normal.
The last start you had prior to going on the DL, May 10th, the team was very different than it is right now. 5 straight losses, 8 of 9. Team's playing really, really well right now. So how different is the vibe in the clubhouse now than when you left?
You know, I mean, it's good. I know all I really know is what I come back to now. I mean, everybody's, you know, high energy and very positive and having a lot of fun. You know, that's what we're supposed to be doing here is having fun and going out there and playing hard, and that's what they're doing right now.
The opportunity to sweep the Braves after the way they've been playing and the way that they played against you guys last week, how much of a boost would it be for this team's psyche?
It'd be huge. But like I said, at this point in the season, I don't think you're really worried about where the wins are going to come from, whether it's the Braves or the Marlins or somebody else. You know, it definitely makes it more special to come from a team that's at the top of our division right now. But, you know, every win is nice and every sweep is great.
Thanks a lot, Dylan. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Steve. Christian Betancourt leading off in the second inning. Hits another bullet against Bartolo Colon, and Betancourt is on to start the top of the second. It was interesting watching that interview with Steve and Dylan G. The kinesiology tape coming down out of the sleeve of Dylan G. He's still trying to get better.
Whatever it takes nowadays, they have technology is so much better. I mean, boy, I think that the newest thing that ever came out when I first started was DMSO, which is something you rub on your muscles, and it had the worst odor of anything that you could ever have. It made your arm feel warm. It was supposed to heal it. I don't think it did either, but you could smell it from a mile away.
Don't bring that up. DMSO.
Ramiro Pena getting his first start of the series, playing third base today in place of Chris Johnson. Pena, the former Yankee, has struggled. 94 at bats this year. He's hitting 191.
3 of his 18 hits, surprisingly, are home runs. Never think of him as a home run hitter.
You know, we were talking about it with Andrelton Simmons in the first inning, but when you get a team that is so home run reliant, which the Braves certainly were last year, as Pena tries to drop down a bunt, do you almost fall into that culture if you join a team that is so home run oriented?
I would say, Gary, that could be infectious. Keith could probably answer it more, but you've got to know what kind of player you are, and certainly Pena's not that kind of player. He's a guy that what he did there, maybe lay down a bunt.
Ronnie makes the perfect point. There's nothing much I can add. I hit third in the lineup with a lot of power behind me with Strawberry, McReynolds when he came over, and Carter. I never felt a necessity to have to hit 20 home runs plus.
Harang not noted for his bat. We've got 2 heavyweight pitchers tonight.
That's the tail of the tape, Gary.
Who do not swing the bat well. I added it up, by the way. If you go by simply the listed weights of the 2 starting pitchers tonight, we have 543 pounds gracing the mound tonight. Colon is listed at 5'11", 283. Harang at 6'7", 260.
Gary, I never would have thought to look that up. I never would have crossed my mind.
Now, let's put Dave Fried to work. Do you think there's ever been a heavier battle between 2 starters?
There you go.
Go back and look at Mickey Lolich's start. Starts back in the day. 1-2, and the curveball bounced foul.
I told you in the beginning of the year I have some friends from Ireland, so I've been using stone weight. That way it sounds a lot better. So both pitchers today a little over 27 stone.
Now what's a stone?
14 pounds.
14. How does that compare to a kilo? Kilo is 2.2 pounds.
Just kinder. It's nicer.
Gently.
Stones.
Stones.
Betancourt at first. Nobody out. 1-2 to Pena, and he taps one into center field for a base hit.
Pretty impressive at bat by Ramiro Pena.
So the Braves have the first 2 men on in the second. That's 8 batters coming to the plate against Colon, and 5 of them have had base hits.
Stays back on this changeup, and let me tell you right there, if you throw a changeup right there to a left-hand hitter, you're going to have success 90% of the time. That's good sink. It's out of the strike zone. If anything more perfected, it would have been maybe 3 inches outside. Huh,
your expectation on that pitch is that the hitter's going to roll it over, and you might have a chance at double play, but Pena thwarted that.
Well, Harang's not a very good hitter, but he's a pretty good bunter. He's got 6 sacrifices this year. And let's see if the Mets are inclined to run the wheel against a guy like Harang. Doesn't look like they're set up for it.
The Mets have not run the wheel very much this year. They've been very conservative, playing the traditional defense on a first and second bunt.
Instead, Tejada ran to the bag looking for a pickoff as Colon threw that pitch.
Yep.
That doesn't really hurt you that bad, because if you do it late enough, the pitcher can't see and bring the bat back and swing. He's still going to be bunting, so he's not going to bunt it in that position.
Of course, the danger is if he does see it early, swings and tries to find that open hole. You got Betancourt, a rookie, running at second base. And I'm sure that the Mets felt maybe they could get Tejada in behind him and make a play. And run the same play again, and Harang fouls it off.
Tejada's looking in the dugout.
Well, that's twice now Tejada's run to the bag as the pitch was thrown.
My first thought, if I were pitching and Harang came to the plate, I would be thinking 2. There's a chance to get 2 outs on this play because he doesn't run well. You know he's not going to get out of the box quick, and be aggressive with your defense.
David Wright's coming to the mound now, so perhaps there's some confusion about the bunt signals.
Well, I know my feeling is that Colon doesn't want to even mess around with pickoffs. But what he should probably do is call Ruben in and say, Ruben, I'm throwing home. Just stay over there.
Do whatever you want to do.
Well, you have to figure Harang's still bunting on 0-2. Now Cologne turns.
See, he didn't want to throw. See, I'm guaranteeing you that was what was going on.
Well, the element of surprise is pretty much gone by now.
My feeling, though, you have not done any of this until July 10th, and now you're going to break it out?
Well, the other piece of that, of course, is to keep Betancourt close enough so you have a better chance of getting a force at third.
He doesn't have that great a speed. Throw a strike, bust, and get him out at third.
He's got a lousy lead. Oh,
and
boy.
Harang bunts and misses for strike 3, and they've now got Betancourt in a rundown. And so they get the double play.
Wow.
In unconventional fashion. Strikeout, caught stealing. 2 out.
Thank you very much. If you're a Met fan. A terrible bunting fundies right there. And let's watch. See, whenever you're afraid of your speed, you always get caught doing that. And he got caught off balance because he feels like got to get a good jump. And the fact that he had a horrible lead makes him want to come off the bag harder. And there you go. You're dead. You're a dead duck.
2-6, 5-6 on the caught stealing. And Ronnie, it always seems to happen when the hitter bunts through the ball.
Because as a runner, you just can't believe that the hitter is going to miss the ball completely when he goes for the bunt. Keith, when you're on second base, that's probably the toughest. Is that ball was right down the middle. Harang put his bat right on it, and somehow it went and missed the bat.
So Pena at second with 2 out. B.J. Upton struck out his first time up. And the breaking ball popped up. David Wright near the railing. And he just runs out of room.
Look at this.
And making friends on the other side.
That's the other third baseman who has a night off. Chris Johnson was.
Well, this is Peter Nora from Norwalk, Connecticut. He was the winner of this year's Take the Mound sweepstakes presented by Citi. Peter threw out the ceremony of first pitch before the game here at Citi Field on July the 5th. One and one to Upton. A little bloop. Lagares coming on. Side retired. So Cologne gives up a couple of hits, but gets out of trouble. 2-0 Braves in the second.
Plus broadcast featuring more Mets content, more Mets features, and fewer interruptions. We're going to be giving away one of my autographed scorecards during the 5th inning of the game. Don't miss your chance to win the score with Keith Sweeps.
Did that count as an interruption? Lucas Duda leads off the home second. Duda 4 for 7 in this series with a couple of doubles and a couple of RBIs.
Listening to your phone calls today, your sweeps are hot right now.
Curveball from Harang misses 2-0. Is he making those phone calls in front of you now?
What?
Just showing off.
No, I'm not. Wouldn't think of it.
1-1 to Duda, and that finds the corner. 1-2. So our intrepid stat guy Dave Freed did some quick research.
Yes.
And he found a heavier weight matchup than Colon versus Harang. CC Sabathia at 290 against Carlos Zambrano at 275.
Well, okay.
Now, for that matter, didn't Sabathia face Colon at some point? So that would be even more. That would be 290 and 283.
Maybe you have to find another word other than intrepid.
Semi-intrepid. Duda, Darno, and Lagares for the Mets in the second. And Lucas gets tied up and goes down swinging. First strikeout for Aaron Harang.
Boy, if you're a pitcher watching this pitch, it's a little dart of a slider. Take that back. That's more of a cutter.
Yes.
Inside.
It doesn't look like much, folks, on TV from the center field camera, but this is what the entire Montreal staff, right-handed, when I played, when Carter was the catcher, when they had Steve Rogers and Charlie Lee and David Palmer before he hurt his arm, Gullickson, they all had that cutter that they pounded inside. It is such a tough pitch to lay off. It gets your attention.
Well, here's Travis d'Arnaud, whose exploits in Las Vegas and since have now earned them the number 5 spot in the batting order. Pena right at the bag, a fair ball, and he throws out d'Arnaud by a stride, 2 away.
Nice hustle down the line from d'Arnaud. There's a nice shot. And now it's fair and the right, folks. It's a very nice shot.
Well, we're going to be out there again this year. Aren't we doing a show from the stands?
Going to be out in the terrace in front of the Shea Bridge.
Oh, fantastic.
Here's Lagares with 2 out. So Aaron Harang picking up right where he left off the last time he pitched here at Citi Field. I mean, you could say he's 1 out away from a no-hitter.
That's right.
There you go.
That's where we're going to be.
Which one? Are we going to be above the...
Lagares drives one deep to the gap in left center, heading toward the wall, and it's off the fence on the fly. Well, Harang was 1 out short of 9 no-hit innings at Citi Field, and Lagares breaks it up.
I like the fact that Lagares pulled that ball. Lagares has been he's a thinker, and I sometimes think that he thinks too much. And when he struggles, he gets too mechanical and gets too geared on right field. So I'm very pleased to see him pull the ball here. Let it rip. Right on the fat. There you go.
So the Mets have their first base runner of the night. And now Ruben Tejada. Now this is one of those situations with a pitcher hitting 8th where you wonder what Harang will have in mind with Tejada in the 7-hole and Colon on deck.
Well, I tell you what, if you're the 6th and 7 hitter or 7 hitter, you're not happy with the Colon hitting in the 8th position. If you're a 3rd hitter, you're very happy. You got 2 leadoff guys.
Tejada has also done well against Harang. He's 6 for 14 against him.
Well, Harang knows those numbers. He also knows the numbers of Tejada and how he's hit of late. I would say that he doesn't get anything to hit in this situation.
And we know about Ruben that he's going to be pretty patient in these spots. And the question then becomes, how aggressive do you want this guy in front of the pitcher to be? Want him to go a little bit out of the strike zone if he has to?
I'd want him to be aggressive. You know what you can do in this situation? If you're seventh place hitter in front of the pitcher, you can sit on a breaking ball. It's probably what you're going to get. There you go.
Or it could be, if you've got a veteran hitter, you can be cat and mouse. You can just play what your gut feel is, and maybe you go up there and look fastball, and maybe that guy's going to try to sneak one by you and fool you, and you put the hurt on him. There's the various ways you can go. But the odds are Tejada's going to get breaking stuff.
Orang behind 2-0.
See, I would look fastball 2-0, Ronnie, in that situation and say, okay, if I get a breaking ball, I'm going to take it. If it's a good breaking ball where he wants it, I'll just, okay, I'm 2-1. Right?
And Tejada takes a strike on the corner, 3-1.
It's another time as a manager and a player you could have swung 3-0. That's another chance to do something a little different.
Something you know I'll often see with guys down in the batting order like this. Well, there's Colon waiting on deck. So now Orang behind 3-1. Lagares at second and 2 out. And that darts in for a strike. 3-2.
That's a get me over breaking ball right here. Lazy and up and nice to hit.
Could pop him in. 3-2. Hasn't seen any fastballs inside. A lot of shakes so far for Orang. Let's see what pitch they choose. Outside.
Yep. He's going to see. Can you tell right there, Ronnie? I mean, we're up here sitting and watching.
Yeah.
We can see that Tejada's going to right field. He's set up. Can you see that following through?
Well, when you get some time on it, you absolutely can see it. And you're hoping not only that you see it, but that the catcher sees it also and calls accordingly. That's a hanger.
Look at Tejada's swing. He is so set up outside. He's leaning towards first base.
Well, every pitch in the at-bat has been away.
The Braves love to throw away.
And they stay away for ball 4. So not quite a pitch around, but certainly Orang did not want to give Tejada anything to hit. And the Mets have 2 on for Colon.
The only issue there is you throw 6-7 pitches, right? That could mean a batter later in the game.
So a chance for Colon to pick up his first run batted into the year. He has 2 hits, including a double, famously in St. Louis.
Pretty much straight up. A little bit shaded. We've seen this with the Braves. The outfield shaded to one gap. And I agree. I always play the pitcher the opposite field unless he's a really, really good hitter, and that's probably 1%. But look how they're taking away right center field. I don't agree with Hayward playing pull straight up.
Well, Colon, who's recently been swinging at everything, takes 2 fastballs for strikes. To stay alive. He gets a nice hand for his effort.
I don't think I've ever seen a pitcher in baseball who's not a very good hitter that gets more fan approval by just contact than Bartolo Colon.
Well, the whole Colon at bat is such an entertainment. The swinging out from under the helmet, the carrying the bat to first base, the occasional success.
He's got a chance. Ooh. We'll see if the Braves miscue last half inning, first and second, nobody out, come up empty-handed, comes back to haunt him.
Here comes the breaking pitch. No, stayed with it.
So Orang strikes out Colon to get through the inning. His second strikeout in that second inning, and he'll carry a 2-0 lead into the third. Well, as we saw earlier tonight, Citi recently called up one of its small business customers to the big leagues. Let's send it down to Steve Gilbs to learn more. Steve?
All right, guys, really cool thing they got going out here just beyond center field. It's part of the city small business call-ups program, and basically what happened was 3 local restaurants were chosen as finalists. There were 2 weeks of voting, and at the end of the day, one winner was crowned. That winner, Corfu Grill. To my left, this is Scott Phillips. He's a sales director at Citibank. And Scott, let's start with you. How did this program come to be?
Well, Steve, at Citibank, we look for a lot of unique ways to support small businesses. We have over 260,000 clients across the country. We lent over $9 billion to companies last year to help them grow. This is one of those unique opportunities to really promote local businesses. And so we came up with the concept of partnering with the New York Mets to bring some of our local small businesses into the big leagues. And we had many great small businesses that are clients of ours compete in this competition, and Corfu Grill came out on top. So congratulations, Georgios.
Well, let's talk to Georgios then. Georgios, this had to be pretty thrilling and has to be pretty thrilling right now for you to have this. What has this done for your restaurant, and how exciting has it been?
We are very excited at Corfu. We want to thank you, Citibank, for the call-ups, and it's one on a lifetime opportunity. I'm very excited. You know, I am next to the big guys, and I'm very thankful and very happy.
And the chicken kebab sandwich, I've heard, is really good.
Of course, my food is the best.
All right, guys, I'm going to send it back to you because I'm going to try the chicken kebab sandwich. He's confident here. He's a New Yorker. His food is the best.
See, now it's nice that you can go there and get it live, but we got delivery service here. So
Service, wow.
Corfu Grill has brought it into the booth. Keith, you've already taste tested.
Outstanding. What else can I say? What, you want to add something to that, Ron?
I was going to think the pita with the hummus is a nice move for us.
It's a nice Greek flavor.
You're saying you're going for a little health-oriented cuisine with the hummus?
Yeah, why not? Why not? We had a full dinner.
We could all use that.
That's right.
So congratulations to Corfu Grill, now on the menu here at Citi Field. Andrelton Simmons will lead off in the 3rd inning. That's pretty good. Takes the strike. Simmons had a base hit to right field and scored the first Atlanta run in the opening inning. And Simmons is 2 for 2.
Pitch up. Too much of the plate right now for Bartolo. Inconsistent. What's interesting is he's got 3 called third strikes, Ronnie, and where he painted the corners, but he's been hurt over the middle. So he's been erratic with his control.
Interesting. We were talking about Simmons and maybe his swing being too big, and
right.
He's done the opposite.
Got a couple singles.
Here's Freeman, who had a bolt into right field for a double to drive it a run. It's another shot. And Simmons goes first to third as Lagares bobbles it in center field. Well, Lagares has been a little shaky defensively since coming back from the disabled list. I'm not accustomed to seeing that.
Well, it wouldn't have mattered one way or the other. He's not going to throw anybody out here. Simmons, took a bad hop. Did you see that? Up hop. That's why you kids out there never take for granted anything. That's why you always say, if you can get in front of the ball, get in front. That was a tricky hop for Lagares right there, and they're very fortunate that he's so sure-handed.
That is 7 hits now for the Braves through the first 12 batters against Cologne. Second straight inning, they've had back-to-back hits to start the inning. Now Justin Upton, who went down looking his first time up. And he swings through a fastball, 0-1. Well, when we're done with this half inning, Terry Collins will join us live on headset from the Mets dugout as part of our Mets Plus broadcast. Toward the middle of the diamond, there's Tejada right at the bag, and the Mets able to turn 2, but the run comes home to make it 3-0 Atlanta. No RBI for Upton on the 6-6-3 double play.
Well, getting himself out of trouble here. The double play is a pitcher's best friend. help stop that bleeding.
Simmons taking the extra base on the base hit by Freeman, and that pays off in a run. Now it's Jason Hayward, who had a base hit to drop and a run in the first. I know there are a lot of things we're going to want to talk to Terry about in the brief time we have. I think we should ask him who he thinks is going to win the battle of the broadcasters tonight.
I'm sure he's very concerned. He's got all that paperwork, X's and O's and ops and wares and all that stuff.
I'm sorry, what?
To worry about who won the battle of the broadcaster. I mean, he's got all that sabermetrics. There's Howie. Look at him. Look at Howie. False hustle.
Looks like he's got great concentration right there. 1-1 to Hayward, and he takes a good cut and fouls it back. 1-2.
Well, the one thing you notice about the Braves hitters in tonight's game, and I think Cologne's got to notice it. Dan Worthen, not a lot of hitters fooled tonight. Now I know he struck out 3 looking in that first inning, but there's been a lot of good swings, too many good swings.
And we've seen this from time to time with Bartolo, going all the way back to that start in Anaheim earlier in the year. There are just starts where he gets the ball up and it's right in the zone. Hayward pops one up. On comes Eric Young, and that retires the side. The Braves add a run, a couple of hits and a double play, and they lead it 3-0 as we go to the bottom of the third here in Atlanta. And Harang will head back to the mound for the bottom of the third as we get set for Terry Collins, who we hope will be able to join us from the dugout during this between innings break. The Mets coming into this game tonight looking to sweep a 4-game series from the Braves for the first time in 25 years. It's hard enough to sweep a 3-game series. It's got to be awfully hard to sweep a 4-game series.
Well, I've often wondered the psychology of it. The other team maybe has got the 3 games and they get a little fat, and the other team has a little more to come to the ballpark for.
Terry Collins joins us from the Mets dugout. Terry, Gary, Keith, and Ron up in the booth. Your offense has obviously been clicking much better in recent days. You look at more contact, fewer strikeouts. Is that by design, or you think it's just clicking right now?
Well, I think it's a matter of both. I mean, we've been talking about it all year long, that to get better pitches to hit, to do a better job of situational hitting, and moving runners along with productive outs. And lately they've been doing that.
Terry, what did it mean to you and the organization to be able to tell Daniel Murphy he's going to the All-Star game?
Well, I thought it was special, Ron. This guy's worked very, very hard. From the first time I came to this organization, spring training, when he tore his knee up the last day of spring training, I saw him work so hard to get back. We asked him to change positions. He's played third. He's played second. And he works as hard as anybody. And it's a good example for our young players in this organization to realize that if you're willing to put the effort in, there's great rewards at the end.
Terry, this whole homestand here, right, just ends at the All-Star break, and I just felt you've been managing every game as if it was the 7th game of the World Series. This is an important part of the stretch of the season for you?
Well, Keith, we got to get back in this thing, and you just can't. We don't have the kind of club that can just sit back and take things easy. We got to push the pedal a little bit more and get back in this thing. This was a big homestand with the Braves before, and with the Marlins coming in to kind of catch up to those guys ahead of us. So I thought it was a big series for a big homestand.
Terry, one of the biggest things that's changed about this team since the start of the season has been the bullpen. How gratifying has it been to see those younger players move into these significant roles?
Well, I think they've done a great job. I give credit to Ricky Bones down there and Danny Worth, and those young guys. We put them in some big, tough situations here in the last couple months, and they've responded. And I think, boys, the season goes along, they're going to be very good.
Thanks, Terry, for the time.
All right, you bet.
All right, Terry Collins joining us from the Mets dugout live as the Mets come to bat in the bottom of the third. Eric Young Jr. hitting 9th in the order will lead off against Aaron Harang, who's given up 1 hit over the first 2 innings. And the curveball in for a strike. Young in the lineup tonight, and Terry was quite explicit about this because of his success against Harang. 5 for 9 with 4 walks against Harang in his career. And it's hit toward the hole, and that pays off immediately. Make it 6 for 10.
Well, this gives you that second leadoff hitter, and I think this goes back, Ronnie, to your old manager, Tony La Russa.
It does. Keith, is this textbook how to hit a changeup the other way?
Exactly, and there's the grip, Ron, and you can't. It's up. You always want to get the changeup down, and if you're off the plate, it's not a pitch that you can pull and do any damage with. And a hitter like Young, particularly, it could be Babe Ruth up. You're leading off an inning. You don't have to hit the solo home run. Just to get the inning started, go up there and get a base hit.
Granderson flying to center his first time. There goes Young. The throw by Betancourt is high, and the tag is missed. And Young has a stolen base, and Betancourt has a howitzer. I think we confirmed that.
Well, let me tell you, the throw's on line. He's dead. He's a dead duck.
Well, he had a perfect pitch to throw.
He had him with a good throw.
The power, though, in that right arm is very, very impressive. 23rd stolen base of the year for Young. Simmons keeping an eye on Young in case he has an idea about stealing third. Interesting to watch the defenses against Granderson, which were so heavily to pull a month ago. Not quite so much anymore.
Remember, even when he was struggling, when he first started to come out of it, he was hitting some balls the other way, and that got him out of that real distinct shift where everyone was on the right side.
Curtis has 2 home runs in this series, a tying home run late on Monday, and then a leadoff home run Tuesday. And the curveball dribbled foul in the batter's box. 1-2.
Ah, scorecard single. Writes it out. Very interesting.
So you really have to be able to have a very sharp pencil to fill the box with that many letters and make it legible.
Why don't you just, sir, why don't you just put 1B? And it's a double 2B, triple 3B home run HR.
He can do it his own way. He doesn't have to do it the way you do it.
No.
It's a matter of style. 2 to Granderson. I suppose whoever was doing that scorecard probably doesn't give his away. Probably keeps them for himself.
I would hope.
Not everybody's scorecards have value on the open market.
Don't you wish you kept all those scorecards that you kept score when you were a kid?
I got them.
You do?
Everyone. Granderson lifts one out to left. And Justin Upton makes the catch for the first out. In fact, I'll tell you this in just a second. Haines Celestial and Fairway Markets are proud hosts of the Mets food drive at Citi Field this weekend. Bring non-perishable food items with you to the game to drop off at the gates. All food collected goes to City Harvest. Donate 5 or more items and you get 2 free ticket vouchers to a future game. For more information, go to Mets.com/food drive. We talk often about the 25-inning game that you and the Cardinals played against the Mets in 1974,
yes,
and that you had won at bat in.
Right.
I have my score sheets from that game.
And you will see that I faced Harry Parker either in the top of the 8th or top of the 9th. Harry was a big, tall screen bean, if you recall. Had an over-the-top curveball. Threw me a hanger. I hit a bullet to the Met bullpen, and Dave Schneck was playing right field. Little guy. He climbed the wall and robbed me.
Schneck didn't have a lot of shining moments as a Met. That was obviously one of them. Made you guys play for 5 more hours.
Yes. His
2-0 to Murphy. Young at second and 1 out. David Wright on deck. Lucas Duda in the hole. Mets trying to fight back from a 3-0 deficit in the third. And it sails high, 3-0. Well, the Mets trying to break through against Harang, a guy who's given them fits this year. 15 innings, 1 run allowed on 4 hits in those 15 innings.
Oh, cutie.
Green light spot or no?
I would say no. David Wright up next. Huge numbers. I know Murph has great numbers too. I'll say no. He's a veteran pitcher, 3-0. He might get, you might get a fastball call and do a little dipsy doodle, take a little off.
36-year-old Aaron Harang with his 6th different team. Behind on Murphy, 3-0. And he misses low, ball 4. So there's the second walk given up by Harang. And the Mets have 2 men on for David Wright. Well, David hit the ball very sharply his first time up, but the Braves had La Stella practically behind second base, perfectly positioned to throw him out.
You were talking about Harang and his penchant for getting ground balls. He's also been getting double play ground balls as of late.
First 11 starts this year, didn't have a single ground ball double play. He's had 10 ground ball double plays in the 7 starts since. Harang working at a noticeably slower pace here in the 3rd inning.
Well, you got men on base, you're in trouble. It changes the whole dynamic.
Young singled and stole a base. Murphy walked. Duda waits on deck. And Wright goes after a slider. 1-1.
This is what David has been doing of late. He's been fishing for this bad slider. That's a difference. Now, we've all swung at bad pitches. And we've all been there. It's a difference between 2-0 and 1-1. And you shake, you get mad at yourself for swinging at it.
And another one.
That was a pretty sharp breaker right there. That was a good one. But still, when you're red hot, those are the pitches that you lay off. And then the pitcher's in trouble. Now you're at disadvantage. You've given a gift to the starting pitcher, and it happens. That's the beauty of the game, just one-on-one.
Now Harang ahead 1-2. Goes right back to the breaking ball, and David able to bang a base hit. Young will come in to score. Well, Harang went to the well one time too many. And David Wright burns him. His 44th run batted in, gets the Mets on the board. It's 3-1.
Didn't get it away enough, Ron.
Well, the first 2 were great. This one wasn't. When you think about it, this goes all the way to last inning. Because he refused to pitch to Tejada, his last out was Colon, so he had to face Eric Young, which is like facing the leadoff hitter. That's how this inning started, and he's in trouble.
So the Mets finally break through against Harang. Now the tying runs on base for Duda, who struck out his first time up.
Lucas has been an entirely different hitter of late, too. He's coming around.
What's the difference you see?
I just see more aggressiveness. I see less thinking. I just saw Lucas like a machine with a bunch of cogs moving slowly and the teeth going in perfectly in slow motion. And now I see more. Let your ability take over, your reactions. Stop thinking.
Drives one to left field. Upton, though, has it lined up. And the runners will have to get back. Well, that's been a big part of Duda's improvement, that ability to use left field.
Well, he's still basically pulling, and I would still, if I was an opposing manager, I would still play him for the pull. But see the aggression? You can just see his look and his expression on his face.
everything is a whole change. And it's just the fact that don't think too much. You know, what got you here when you first came up? You didn't know any of the pitchers. You just looked fastball, you saw the ball, and reacted. You know, you can think too much and just stay aggressive. Trust your ability.
Now 2 out and 2 on for Darno. And a slow ground ball for Pena. And that retires the side. The Mets get 1 run on David Wright's RBI hit. Well, we've talked a lot in recent days about pickoff moves and balks and what's legal and what's not. So we figured we'd have Ronnie give you a little primer on right-handed pickoff moves.
You know, early in my career, I did not know how to hold runners on. We've talked about it in the booth, but I figured maybe I'd show you ways to do it. In 1985, I had to face the St. Louis Cardinals, Vince Coleman and the gang, and they just had tremendous speed. The only way you could beat them was to hold runners on. Now, there's a few different ways to do it, and make sure you alternate it if you're out there so there's no pattern. One, you'll get a sign from the bench or your catcher to throw over. Well, you all know what that is. Simply just hold the ball and at some point turn and throw to first base to keep the runner close. The next one that you really want to do is to step off. And how is the step off done? Well, you have to make sure you have a count of 3 seconds before you step off. Why? I think the most important thing is that you want to see what the runner's doing. If you step off right away, you're not going to see if he thinks he might move to second base, that he might be a little jittery. So you wait 3 seconds, and then you step off. The bench, your manager, and even you will see if he wants to steal or not. The other one you can do is to hold the ball for a long time, and it's usually a 4 count. So if you're a young person out there, count to 4 Mississippis, and that will get a good base runner really just stuck in his place, and it'll be almost like he has cement shoes and he can't steal. And then the best one is after you've done all of these things to hold them close, you do what's called a slide step. So you come to the set, and instead of lifting your leg, you just take it straight to the plate. That's the slide step. It's a quick move, and it's one that always gets the runners off their base and doesn't get them to get that really good jump. Now, we always talk about a pickoff move, and it's been in the news a lot lately. The Julio Teheran has one of the best for the Atlanta Braves. In fact, the Mets think it's a balk move. And Ron Gardenhire for the Twins recently got thrown out of a game because he thought that David Phelps of the Yankees had a balk move. Well, what is a balk move? If you look at my front knee, the key for a right-handed pitcher is to have quick feet, to be able to spin around and throw an accurate throw. But what some pitchers will do with that front knee, because runners are looking at that they will bend it and then throw over. Well, why does that work as a balk move? Well, one, you're not supposed to do that. And two, there's a key for the base runner. When they're watching that front foot, if it bends, it's the signal for them to go. So that's why it works against good runners. So when you're thinking about this stuff, and we talk about it all the time, and you're a youngster at home trying to hold runners close, if you do these 4 or 5 things, you certainly will be better, much better, at holding runners on first.
That is some great stuff, and there's more expert instruction to be had from Curtis Granderson and the team of Mets coaches at Citi Field Friday, August 16th. Log on to cityprivatepass.com to learn more about this offer and other special access opportunities. Meanwhile, a beautiful bunt single by Tommy La Stella to get the Braves started in the 4th. Their 8th hit against Bartolo Colon. Now Christian Betancourt takes high for ball 1. Ronnie, that was nice of them to build you a new studio for that instructional segment.
Well, I have to give all the credit to Al, Boots, Carey. They worked very hard to get that down. It looked great, the background. I don't know if the words were that great, but
runner goes, a hit and run play, and Betancourt fouls it off.
So Freddie Gonzalez wants to get out of Dodge with a victory here. He's trying to add on. And I'm still looking to that second inning the Braves had right there as third base coach Doug DeCenzo. Is that first and second, nobody out, the failure of Herrera to get the bunt down and the double up on the strikeout when he struck out trying to bunt and come away empty handed. Those are the things that don't get written in the story, the paper the next day on the storyline, but they could beat you.
Now, Cologne's been pitching out of the stretch virtually this entire game. Braves got 2 runs in the first, a run in the third. Now the leadoff man on in the fourth. And that time Betancourt bluff and bunt with Wright playing back.
No.
Big line to
is he going
dunk the clown.
Is he going in the water?
Oh, the clown's wearing a Braves uniform. I see.
They got to pay me an awful lot of money to sit on that chair.
How about to wear a Braves uniform? Strike 2-2. So getting back to your instructional video, Ronnie, I'm reading in the note that I just got from our stat guy that you balked 24 times in your career. Now, how many of those were actually balks, and how many of those umpires misreading your move?
Well, the one year they started calling balks, I was the main guy. Every time I had a quick move over, there was a lot of managers complaining that my move was too quick. Balk every single time. But I do have to say, I balked twice in my first start in the major leagues. I don't know many people who did that.
Were those legit?
Same moves. And the umpires just didn't like how it looked.
Betancourt hits it over toward the line, and Granderson gets there for the first out. So what you needed to do before your first big league start was to go down to the umpire's room, show them your move so they'd be ready for it.
That went over real well in the 80s, to go down there and tell the umpires what to do.
I could just see you going to Doug Harvey. Hey, I've got this move. You might want to check it out because I think it's legal.
You know, the game's so different now. Keith will tell you. Facing those 85 Cardinals, it was a whole different experience. Every single person in that line, boy, right in the water. Every single hitter in that lineup could steal. Other than Jack Clark or Pedro Guerrero. They didn't have to.
They take it deep. Guerrero Pena had a base hit to center field his first time up.
Tough. Oh, look at that.
That's sunset. Wow. A little pink.
That's a beautiful shot.
A little purple.
Well done.
Line right center, base hit for Pena. La Stella goes first to third, and the Braves are in business again. Runners at the corners and 1 out. Pena, inserted in the lineup tonight, had been struggling big time. He's 2 for 2.
Up in the strike zone. Nicely placed. And right now, there's the contact a little towards the end. Freddie Gonzalez wishes he had batted Harang in the 8th spot now.
Well, 9 hits now against Bartolo Colon in 3 1/3. Trying to stay in this game. Stella at third, Ramiro Pena at first. We'll see what Harang is asked to do here.
Playing for 2 up the middle, Gare. And they're going to bunt.
Bunt to stay out of the double play.
Oh, why? I would let him take a. Well. Ronnie, he's just stabbing at it. Huh? Yeah, he's stabbing at it, and Gary gave the number. He has 6 sacrifice bunts, so he usually is a pretty good bunter, but not tonight. You know what you have to do? If he gets a bunt back to him, Bartolo Colon, there's 1 out. His move has to be look the runner back to third and then take a shot at a double play.
Well, especially with Harang, who is very slow coming out of the batter's box. Fouled off. Of course, as a hitter, if you can get the third baseman to handle the ball, then that runner can follow the third baseman down the line, and there's not much you can do about it.
One thing you can do, maybe if you're a third baseman, if you don't have a play at first, you can give a fake, hope your shortstop comes in around him. Saw Manny Machado do that his rookie year.
Well, Harang struck out trying to bunt in the 2nd inning. Colon hoping he can get him to do it again. And he's ready to swing, and he goes down on strikes for the 2nd out. 5 strikeouts now for Colon. On June 24th, Citi partnered with City Harvest to feed New York's hungry by hosting a repack at Citi Field outside the Jackie Robinson Rotunda as part of Citi's ongoing Teammates in the Community program. Over 100 Citi colleagues volunteered to provide support to over 6,000 families in the tri-state area.
And you notice Big Orange there, Rusty Staub. He is so giving of his time.
If it's a charitable pursuit, Rusty's usually in the neighborhood.
Rusty is Johnny on the spot. Prince of a man, isn't he? A little grumpy.
Only you're entitled to say that. Well, Cologne's already pitched out of a couple of big jams in this game to keep himself around. He's got a leg up on trying to do it again. B.J. Upton's 0 for 2, struck out and flied out. A sinker there, and it's 0-2.
So Cologne right now is trying to get himself out of trouble. He understands in the 4th inning that it's 3-1. He's in this game, and Ronnie, first and third. Granted, he had a pitcher up, but he's got his pitches down. He's pitching to get out of this inning.
That was the best pitch he threw all night inside. Let's see if he goes back and tries to dart that outside corner like he struck out Upton in the 1st inning.
0-2 to BJ. He struck him out, and Cologne is out of trouble again. 6 strikeouts in the first 4 innings for Cologne, giving his team a chance. Down 3-1 in the 4th. Lewis in the News is coming to Citi Field for a concert after the Mets-Marlins game this Saturday as part of the Mets concert series presented by Dwayne Reed. Catch Huey Lewis in the News live in concert this Saturday. For tickets, visit Mets.com/concerts.
That is a 4:10 start. Outstanding.
For the game. Concerts after.
That means the game will be over around about an 8 o'clock concert. Perfect.
Still be light.
I might stick around for that one.
He was a big baseball fan.
He's a huge baseball fan, huge San Francisco Giant fan. He's a good man, too. A nice man, Huey. He was another one of those finds that he just bounced around. Huey Lewis in the News bounced around the Bay Area, San Francisco, just playing little bars and clubs, and someone discovered him, much like Tom Petty discovered Sheryl Crow.
Had a couple of hits, and that was it.
And there you go, on his way.
Lagares had the first Met hit tonight, a double off the wall in left center. That's been out hit in this game 9-3.
Oh,
got there.
Goodness gracious. So cheesesteaks, right?
Steak going on.
Oh.
Ruben Tejada waits on deck. And Lagares pops one up. Estella called off by Hayward, one away. Well, today was a momentous day in the National League Central. It was the day of the thumbs. Yadier Molina, torn ligaments in his right thumb, out 8 to 12 weeks. Brandon Phillips of the Reds, torn ligaments in his left thumb, similar. The team in first place in that division, the Milwaukee Brewers, just got swept in a 4-game series by the Phillies and have lost 9 of their last 10. Only good news in the National League Central today, the Chicago Cubs' Anthony Rizzo won the final player vote for the All-Star game, beating out the likes of Casey McGee and Justin Upton. There are the standings after the Brewers lost today, their 5th straight.
I see where the Giants got back on top of the Dodgers by percentage points.
Matt Cain got his first win in almost 2 months last night.
That has turned into a race right there, and Oakland keeps on rolling, but the Angels are right on their heels.
Oakland won this afternoon behind Scott Kazmir, now has 11 wins. Kazmir 7 innings, 3 hits, 9 strikeouts today for the A's. Tejada lays off, and it's 2-1. Ruben walked his first time up.
So they got what they want on Park Avenue. They got races in every division. Hallelujah. He made like Leonard Cohen now. Very nice.
By the way, I saw him in the Garden a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
He was terrific. He was really very spiritual.
You say spiritual, we show sky. Is that how that works? It'll pop up by Tejada, and Simmons goes out to call. And quickly, Harang has 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. Now Colon will bat. The base is empty. Well, Colon is behind in this game. He's lost his last 2 starts. Hasn't lost 3 straight starts since 2011 when he was pitching for the Yankees. But he could be a whole lot further behind tonight if not for some rather clutch pitching. 9 hits allowed in the first 4 innings.
And lack of getting down a bunt by the opposing starting pitcher. Ooh. Was a makeup call there. First pitch of the at-bat was off the plate. Colon questioned it. That ball was right on the corner. Called the ball.
Now, I will say something to all the minor league umpires that might be watching. You never have to do a makeup call for a pitcher when he's hitting.
How about for a hitter?
For a hitter? Yes.
It's an unfair world, I guess. Colon makes contact. And Simmons throws him out. So it's a 1-2-3 inning for Aaron Harang, and that gets us through 4 here at Citi Field, with the Braves leading 3-1. Every time the Mets hit a home run at Citi Field this season, Citi is making a $2,000 donation to a local community partner. To date, Citi has committed $94,000 as part of the Citi Thank You Home Runs for Community program. Curtis Granderson, Citi's brand ambassador for this program, caught up with our Steve Gelbs earlier this week to discuss his involvement.
All right, Curtis, you're part of the Citi Thank You Home Runs for Communities program. Can you tell us a little bit about what your role is and what the program does?
The program first is acknowledging and helping out those in the community that do great things and giving back to help those that are a little less fortunate. So we have the United Neighborhood Houses, we have City Harvest, we have USO, and we also have the YMCA. So all great organizations that kind of touch everybody, and what better way to help benefit them is by the rewards that we happen to get on the field by hitting home runs. And, you know, people talk about Citi Field doing those different things, but over the course of this season, we've raised a lot of money by hitting the ball out of the ballpark to help those organizations, and I know they're very appreciative of it. And we still have a whole second half of the season left, so hopefully we can raise a lot more money for them. And home runs obviously benefit them, but benefit us as a team.
Got a couple of reasons to go yard, don't you? Curtis Granderson, thanks so much, man.
No problem. Thank you.
In celebration of second baseman Daniel Murphy's selection to his first All-Star game, you can purchase 2 tickets for just $28 for games through Sunday. That includes Free Shirt Friday, the Huey Lewis and the News concert Saturday, and Family Sunday. To get your savings, go to Mets.com/Murphy. Aaron Harang with reason to smile, a 3-1 lead after 4. So let's see, he's allowed 2 runs in 17 innings against the Mets this season. Harang has.
You were mentioning that both Yadier Molina and Brandon Phillips lost to their team for a significant part of time with those thumb injuries. From ESPN Stats Info, Cardinals are 275 and 203 when Molina starts, 50 and 50 when he does not.
Better than I would have thought.
Wow.
Of course, Tony Cruz now becomes their #1 catcher. Andrelton Simmons leads off here in the 5th and hits one in the air deep down the left field line toward the corner. That goes Young right near the wall to grab it. So Simmons making a bid down the line. 1 long out. Now, it was in the news yesterday that 2 veteran catchers were designated for assignment. A.J. Przinsky by the Red Sox and John Buck by the Mariners. I wonder whether the Cardinals will go in either of those directions.
The more expensive one would be who? Przinsky, right?
Well,
it doesn't matter. The Red Sox are on.
If they get released, then it's just the minimum salary. If you work out a trade, then they'd have to figure out who pays for what. Freddie Freeman takes a strike. In the case of Phillips, for now, the Reds are going to go with Skip Schumacher at second base. I know Phillips' numbers are not great as Freeman yanks one foul, but he gives them so much on both sides, offense and defense. And the Reds, despite the fact that Joey Votto is hurt now, have all of a sudden really gotten their act together. They've won 5 straight coming into today, although they lost in 12 innings to the Cubs this afternoon.
And Billy Hamilton nursing a mild hamstring strain.
Freeman's 2 for 2, a single and a double, and he chases the high fastball. And Colon has his 7th strikeout.
Up the ladder.
Well, in this series, the Mets pitching staff, pitchers, Dan Warthen, Ricky Bonas, should note maybe a small Achilles heel for Freddie Freeman, that fastball low.
We are very food oriented tonight. Have you noticed that?
I like it.
We have the great stuff from Corfu Grill in the booth. We showed steaks, now sausages. Justin Upton grounds 1 to third and doesn't bother running to first base. That's been a theme in this series. 1, 2, 3 go the Braves in the top of the 5th. Halfway through, Braves 3, Mets 1. Earlier today, we caught up with Dermot Bowden, City's chief brand officer, to learn more about what City is doing to enable progress here at Citi Field and around the world.
City stands for progress. We believe in big ideas from big thinkers, and we call those big thinkers progress makers. Progress makers are individuals, they're companies, they're communities who want to enable change in their society to help progress. You're going to see an example of this in a story we're telling about a company called Revolution Foods. They're enabling children to get healthy and vibrant food that will help them on their journeys of progress.
Over 20 million kids every day in our country lack access to healthy food.
For the first time, American kids are slated to live a shorter lifespan than their parents. It's a problem that we can turn around and change.
Revolution Foods is a company we started to provide access to healthy, affordable, kid-inspired, chef-crafted food.
We looked at what are the aspects of food that will help set up kids for success, making sure foods are made with high-quality ingredients and prepared fresh every day.
Our collaboration with Citi has helped us really accelerate the expansion of our business in terms of how many communities we can serve.
Working with Citi has also helped to fuel our innovation process and the speed at which we can bring new products into the grocery stores.
We're employing 1,000 people across 27 urban areas, and today serve over 1 million meals a week.
Until every kid has built those lifelong eating habits, we'll keep working.
Oh, look at that sunset.
Ooh. Purple Majesty.
Family of Met fans on a perfect night for baseball at Citi Field. Aaron Harang working with a 3-1 lead.
Isn't this a beautiful game when you've had 2 games now where we've had 2 overly competent starting pitchers throwing strikes, and this is a beautiful game.
Last night it was Dylan G and Irvin Santana. Tonight, Aaron Harang and Bartolo Colon. Mets will have 9-1-2 in the order, and this is where that double leadoff kicks in for the second time. Eric Young led off the third inning with a base hit, stole a base, scored the only Met run. Azure hue interrupted by pinks and purples.
Really gorgeous. It is a beautiful ballpark. They did a wonderful job in here.
That's a great perspective that we rarely see. Young's bunt is too hard back to Harang, and an easy play for the first out.
Okay, folks, now it's time to see if you guys can score with Keith. That's me. I will ask a question about my life and time in baseball, and then tweet your answers to @SNYTV with the hashtag #ScoreWithKeithSweeps, and one randomly selected fan will win one of my autographed scorecards. And there's the question. How many home runs? How many home runs did I hit with the Mets? I don't even know that one.
There you go. How many home runs did Keith? Now, what's the hashtag again?
Oh, don't ask me.
That was a long hashtag. It was like 4 words.
Carrie,
anybody get confused? Bring that back here.
Bring it back, Carrie.
I need to read that again.
All right, I won't read the whole thing. I'll read
just the hashtag.
@SNYTV.
That's the address. And what's the hashtag?
Hashtag #ScoreWithKeithSweeps.
#ScoreWithKeithSweeps.
Yes. Did I read that improperly?
No, you read it great. It's just, it's a lot to remember. 1-1 to Granderson, who's 0 for 2. Curtis has been up twice, flied out both times. 4 for 15 in this series with a couple of home runs. Mets have been held to just 3 hits so far tonight by Harang. Stella gets in front of it, and quickly there are 2 out.
Interesting. This is now the 3rd time through the order, Ronnie, and going to the breaking ball this inning, Harang. I always love this part of the game, the pitchers, what they do and how they change.
We saw before the slider. This one he gets more on top of. He gets more of that 12-6 motion, although his is more kind of 2-8 as opposed to 12-6.
And Murphy with 2 out and nobody on. Takes a curveball down for ball 1.
Sorry, kids at home, just look at a clock in front of you because there's no clocks anymore. But if you do have a clock, look in front of you and just go from the 2 straight line to the 8. That's the break on that breaking ball from Harang. We're going to have to get a new deal because there's just not that many clocks around.
That's right. They're all digital.
They're all on the phone.
They're missing out on so much.
Past the glove of Harang, and that'll scoop through the middle. A base hit for Murphy.
Well, Murph always managing to get one in there, doesn't he? He has been so consistent at the plate this year.
Found it interesting that LaStella was playing Murphy slightly to pull, which results in that base hit.
Past one glove and then another. So that'll get David Wright to the plate as the tying run. David has driven in the only Met run tonight with a base hit in the third. Harang got ahead of him with a couple of sliders off the plate, then got one on the plate, and David was able to pull it through the hole into left. When this half inning ends, Steve Gelbs will be live right outside the Mets clubhouse with Bobby Abreu, who is standing by. Hi, Bobby.
Good guy. He gets it. He can play a little bit too.
Been doing that for a long time. Wright has the count in his favor. Goes after the fastball with cutter 2-1.
Good one.
Now it's 3-1. Lucas Duda on deck. So what does David get here? Does he go after him?
He's got to throw a strike. I mean, you know, he's gotten ground balls. We talked about the stats before his last couple of starts. Keep something down. Hope he hits it on the ground.
They just like to stay away, don't they?
And he walked him. Third walk given up by Harang. So now the tying run's aboard for Duda.
The walks will always hurt, especially when you've got a lead, right?
Well, this is a guy Duda's had trouble with. Lucas is just 2 for 16 against Harang. Tonight he struck out and flied out. Harang retired the first 2 here in the 5th, but Murphy snuck a single up the middle. Now Wright has drawn a walk.
Got Lucas with the breaking stuff down and in.
And the curveball in for a strike.
So he's really gone to his breaking ball now in this inning. Harang.
He's got a better feel for that curveball versus the left-handers than he does the slider against the right-handers.
And he feels comfortable dropping it on the outside corner too. Braves have always been this way, Ronnie. I've noticed over the years I've been in the booth, and in longer than Roger's been there. So I think it's a philosophy. When McCann was behind the plate all those years, they just pounded away, away, away.
Well, it goes back to the Leo Mazzoni days as Braves pitching coach. Guys like Glavine and Maddox. Good curveball by Harang, 1-2.
Outside corner and a lot off, 75 miles per hour. Old 12-6. Maybe a 1-7.
Still working with that clock.
See that cutter in right here, maybe after those 2 breaking balls, or stay with the curveball?
No, the curve slower this time. 2-2.
Problem when you're a pitcher and you keep kind of pitching around guys and trying to get yourself to a favorite hitter to face, that means you have to get him out. Lucas could upend that right here.
2 out, 2 on, 2-2 to Duda. Right at his feet. Full count.
Thought he was one pitch too late with that run. Do it on the 1 and 2 pitch. And if you miss, then you can go back outside where you're comfortable. But neither here nor there.
So now Murphy and Wright will be in motion. 3 and 2, 2 out. And the curveball outside, ball 4. So he went back to the curve on 3 and 2. Harang has issued back-to-back walks, and the Mets have the bases loaded for d'Arnaud. And Roger McDowell will pay Harang a visit.
See, Harang asked his catcher Betancourt, where was that pitch? And missed.
Curved around, and you see the catcher try to bring it in and sneak it in.
Well, the Marlins come in tomorrow night to open a 3-game series. Your city probable, Zach Wheeler against the red-hot Henderson Alvarez tomorrow night. How is he not on the All-Star team?
Whoa.
Daisuke Matsuzaka Saturday against Tom Kohler, and then Jacob deGrom, who is pitching wonderfully against the lefty Brad Hand on Sunday.
Kohler might have had the best game of the year against the Mets.
So a chance for d'Arnaud, who left a couple of men on to end the third. He bats with the bases loaded and 2 out. Harang's thrown a lot of balls in this game, but he's got himself a lead, at least for the moment. Tying runs in scoring position. Go ahead run at first base. And d'Arnaud lays off the slider, takes a strike, 0-1.
Now, d'Arnaud hit the 2-run shot late last night off Santana that iced the game. That gave the Mets the 4-1 lead on a hanging breaking ball. Straight up, little shade to the right in the outfield.
Ball and a strike to d'Arnaud. So it's becoming a bit more of a struggle here for Harang as he gets deeper into this game. No action as yet in the Atlanta bullpen.
Steady diet of breaking stuff, like he's forgotten his fastball.
Harang gets through this. This might be one of those 5-and-fly kind of games.
Threw 111 pitches in 8 innings his last time out against Arizona. And he misses away with the fastball, 2-1.
Good pitch to hit. Bases loaded. Pitcher does not want to go 3-1 here.
Tim Timmons has been good behind the plate. That ball's off too. Boy, this is where you get a pitcher, even if he throws you a breaking ball, he's got to throw it for a strike.
d'Arnaud gets the breaking ball, but he pulls it foul.
You see Pena was right on the line, so that ball, if it was fair, was going to be a big out.
We see that a lot with the Braves, with Chris Johnson and with Pena. Bases loaded has not been the Mets' favorite situation this year, but they've had very few of those situations during this recent hot streak. So we'll see whether that worm turns here for d'Arnaud. Bases loaded, 2 out, 2-2 to Travis. And the curveball hit to right center, easy for B.J. Upton. And that retires the side. So the Mets load him up and leave him loaded. Harang finds his way out against Travis d'Arnaud.
Well, first pitch slider, curveball for a strike away, bad breaking ball away, 1-1. Fastball, little cut to it, 2-1. Curveball down away, pull, 2-2, and another breaking ball, another curve. Had some plate, but down. I thought it was a good swing by d'Arnaud, just got under it.
So after 5, it's 3-1 Atlanta. Standing by outside the Mets clubhouse is Steve Gelbs with Bobby Abreu. Steve?
Thanks a lot, Gary. All right, Bobby, we're going to start off here with the really important stuff, and that's your incredible catch last night. Almost ran through the wall. How good was it to show the young guys that those 40-year-old legs still have some juice?
It was good, man. It was good. They always making fun of me when I run and about my age, but the good way. So I think make that play and then still show that you can still have speed and you can still play, defense. So it's good for us, and I think it helped, just give a little inspiration to the guy just to keep it going.
You're a pretty great story. I mean, last year, out of the game completely, to come back and be as productive as you are now. What gave you that confidence to know you could do it?
I always have confidence to myself, but I wanted just to make him back to the big league. I knew for sure that wasn't be that easy. So I got to just go through a lot of stuff, and just went back to play and win a ball. So it's going to be a lot of scouts over there, so they can watch and see if you can play different and still hit. So when I had my chance to be in spring training, I didn't make the team with the Phillies, but New York Mets just called me, so they sent me back to AAA, and then just start working on me. Like, you have to just work harder and every time, just to show that you can play and can get back to the big league. So that's pretty much what I did, and I feel happy. And I think I enjoy more the game that I used to.
You speak about enjoyment, and you and I were kind of talking about this right before we came on. This is a fun team to be around right now. What have you sensed as the major difference here over the last couple of weeks?
Ooh, it's a lot of fun over here, no doubt. I mean, we're just having a lot of enjoyment moments right now, with a lot of wins. When you start losing games, it's just think about what you do wrong and everything. Everything is going to come around, but when you start to having fun in the game, and don't be afraid just to fail, you're going to start to win some game. The thing is going to go around and work it for the good way for you. And right now, that is what it happened. We just do a little thing with the towel, the white towel. So now everybody, get contaminated with that, so everybody just want the white towels, and we just keep winning game. The little things that we do on the field and start working out for the best for us. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of happy moments over here.
Terry's talked about you being a mentor to these younger players, and around the clubhouse, the guys say that you're as approachable a veteran as there is. How much do you relish that role?
Well, that's why they brought me over here. Well, that's fine, to be around with these guys. I mean, young guys at the next future for the Mets. They just, asking about the games, situations in the games, anything how they can, be better than what they already are, So I think to me, I have a lot of fun doing. I have a lot of fun. I'm just tell them, and see those guys be also selfful every time they tell them something, they pick it up right away. So I think it's something that you want to do, and you want to see it when it's already working.
Is there anything specific that you've told one or a couple of these youngsters that you've seen them take onto the field?
Well, I saw them like in the beginning. Sometimes when runners score a position, sometimes they just take in a couple of good pitches, just probably working on the count or whatever. So I just tell them, like, listen, you have to just be more aggressive. You don't have to swing any pitch they want you to swing, But if they give you a fastball right there and you're looking for, just don't be afraid to act, And they've been doing that, and I think it's and be worked it. So you feel good about it.
Bobby, thanks so much.
No, thank you very much,
guys. Bobby Abreu talking about pretty much what you were talking about at the beginning of the broadcast.
What a revelation!
That's a great job. Abreu's got a lot of knowledge, and he has had himself a great career.
35 hits short of 2,500, 288 home runs, 574 doubles, and 400 stolen bases. Wow.
800 RBI seasons, 8 years of 100 or more walks. As La Stella drives one deep to center. Long run for Lagares, but he gets there. And makes a hard play look easy for the second out.
Don't test that man.
Also for Abreu, lifetime .395 on base percentage. So it makes you wonder, does he have any shot at making the Hall of Fame? He was never considered, a top flight player during his career. In other words, that top echelon. He only made 2 All-Star teams. But the skills he brings to the table, I think, are valued more than they might have been when his career first began.
I think he was a very unappreciated player, to be honest with you. He was an all-around player. Not flashy,
I mean, 100 RBI is that's not easy.
8 times. And I think Ronnie mentioned the stolen bases, 400 steals to go with almost 300 home runs. I think he'll get consideration. I don't know if he'll make it, but I think he'll be considered. Christian Betancourt is 1 for 2 at a base hit back in the second. Meanwhile, Bartolo Colon keeps hanging around in this game. Gave up 9 hits in the first 4 innings. But now he's retired 7 in a row. He's had a lot of games go just like this, hasn't he?
Yes. But he'll stay in there. You know he will. You know, maybe the question, Gary, and I'm real strict when it comes to the Hall of Fame. That's just my opinion. It doesn't mean anything. But maybe if you have to ask the question, then you're not with the great ones.
Not with that.
I mean, he's a
special
player.
Just
a 1A player. That's, you know?
I just think that if you would ask the question 10 years ago,
I know what you're saying, yeah.
He wouldn't have gotten any consideration. But I just think because you look at the ball strike ratio, incredible for Colon tonight. I just think that what he brings to the table might be more appreciated now than it would have been 10 years ago. Little bloop, and Duda goes back and grabs it, and Colon's got himself another 1-2-3 inning. That's 8 in a row retired by Bartolo, keeping his team in the game. That's down 3-1 in the 6th. We'll be right back. From Cy Young winner to retired with regret. Get an inside look at the career of Frank Viola, plus what he had to do to overcome a condition that nearly took his life on Mets Insider, presented by W.B. Mason, Sunday at 4:30, only on SNY. Juan Lagares leads off for the Mets as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Mets down 3-1. Lagares doubled off the fence in left center in the 2nd inning. That was the first of only 4 hits the Mets have garnered tonight against Aaron Harang. That starts him off with a curveball for a strike. Harang has really leaned on that curveball this 3rd time through the batting order. 90 pitches on the night for Harang, and they're just about to start some work now in the Atlanta bullpen. Yanked down to third, and Rivero Pena's there to play. Lagares retired, one away.
More breaking balls.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Ruben Tejada and Bartolo Colon due up next, and is out in the on-deck circle. Bottom of the 6th. Colon has only thrown 76 pitches, and he has just started to kick it into gear. However, there is action in the Mets bullpen, so Terry Collins hedges his bets with Carlos Torres getting up. Tejada lifts one, and Hayward eases over, and quickly there are 2 out. So after Harang was forced to work hard in the 5th, he's gotten 2 outs on 3 pitches to start the 6th.
I mean, it almost looked like he was done after the 5th inning, but a little revival here.
Well, you always said, Ronnie, that bottom half of the order, you got to make hay, you got to push through it.
Colon will swing at this first pitch. No.
He's been a little more reticent about swinging the bat tonight.
I think he's beginning to have fun up the plate, to be honest with you.
I think he always has fun.
Well, no, in the beginning, I thought he was very unsure.
Had some fear.
And I think he's getting a little more comfortable and having fun with it. He's a smart guy. He knows what he's doing.
Tonight's Mets Plus telecast on SNY is brought to you by Citi. Citi cards can get you in on the action and closer to the game with access to special benefits at Citi Field. Visit Mets.com/Citi to learn more. Luis Avilan, first man up in the Atlanta bullpen. Colon hits one in the air to pretty deep left field. Well, not that deep.
Gary, come on, Gary. Don't get the fans all excited.
It was exciting to watch.
That's a can of Del Monte.
That was, you have to consider the source. Bartolo getting some lift in his swing and flying out to end the bottom of the 6th inning. Well, with the extra time that we have on tonight's enhanced telecast, we have a chance to talk with one of my favorite ex-Mets, left-hander John Matlack, who's on the phone with us. John, it is fantastic to have you with us. How you doing?
Good, guys. Great to be with you, too.
Gary, Keith, and Ron with you. John came up in the Mets. His first start was 43 years ago tomorrow, 1971, July the 11th. What do you remember about joining a staff with guys like Seaver and Koosman and the like?
There's a whole lot of big shoes to try and fill.
And then you went on to win Rookie of the Year in 1972. What were some of your best memories of being part of the Mets for the years you were here?
Oh, I think it was just the camaraderie with the guys and the way the game was played back then. Everybody sort of pulled together and helped one another. I was fortunate enough to have a locker between Tom Seaver and Jerry Koosman, and then you couldn't be put in a better spot if you were a pitcher. Had information coming from both sides that was always helpful, and that type of environment just let everybody grow and get better.
John, what do you remember about that great start against the A's in the '73 World Series?
Oh, I had a couple of them, and I remember that I should have made a better pitch to Holtzman after Felix made one of his very few errors, and it ended up costing me the ball game because I didn't. In the 4th game, I pitched well enough to win, and Rusty supplied a lot of offense. And in Game 7, I really think that's the only game the true A's showed up. Made a bad pitch to Reggie that he deposited it over the fence. And I made a pretty good pitch to Campaneris that also got deposited over the fence, and we ended up getting beat.
John, now see, there's always the question that Seaver pitched in Game 6 without the rest. Were you surprised? And when did Yogi come to you and say, if it goes 7, it's you?
There was never any forethought to that I recall. It was just the way the rotation was working, and he had told Tommy that he was pitching Game 6, and that sort of left Game 7 to me, and I don't think there was much other thought at the time that I was at least aware of that went on at that time.
John, that entire 73 season was unbelievable in the fact that you guys were in last place on August 30th and rallied through September and made it all the way to the 7th game of the World Series. What do you remember as the turning point of that season to go from a team that nobody expected to be anywhere near the postseason to get to where you were at?
I can't tell you the date, but it was a game against Pittsburgh in Shea, and there was a play made where a ball was hit with guys on by Pittsburgh Pirates, and the ball looked like it was going to go out, but instead of going out, it actually hit the top of the fence in left field, I believe, one left center, I think it was left field, and careened back to the outfielder. It was relayed in. There was a play at the plate. The guy was out at the plate. It ended up saving that game, and it was like a momentum changed at that point in time, and from then forward, it was somebody different almost every day, but somebody stepped up and did what needed to be done to help us win.
John, for a pitcher who threw routinely 250 innings plus, you've worked after your career with a lot of professional pitchers. What's your take on the pitch count?
I think you got to deal with what guys bring to the table, and I don't think everybody is physically capable of pitching deep into ball games. But there are those who are capable, and I think you inhibit their ability to be as good as they can be if you curtail them with a pitch count.
John, I always like to ask this question. Toughest out for you in your career, left-hander and right-hand hitter?
Well, if I pick anybody out, I'm going to make a whole lot of people mad.
Well.
So to tell you that, the end of that story, I think, is that the good guys, I won some and they won some. But there was one guy that was sort of an unsung hero that played against left-handed pitchers, who was a backup catcher in Montreal named John Bacabella. And one year he went, I think, 7 for 11 with a couple of home runs and God knows how many RBIs against me. I could not get him out.
Well, the Mets are playing the Braves tonight, so it can't help but recall a very painful memory for you, the ball that Marty Perez hit off your forehead. What do you remember about that?
Oh, my goodness, was that a headache. Well, it was sort of strange because I really thought I had him out the pitch before with a curveball that was too low on a check swing. Umpire at home plate didn't call it. We appealed it. We didn't get the appeal. It's starting to rain. I've got to make a pitch with the bases loaded and 2 outs, and the game's sort of on the line at this point. And I overthrew the 3-2 pitch and lost sight of it on the way to the plate. I can see the bat swing to this day. I can still hear the ball go crack against the bat. But I never picked the baseball up until it was maybe 15 feet from me, and it was too late to really get out of the way at that point.
John, 26 shutouts in a Mets uniform. What are your best memories of pitching in Shea Stadium and the Mets fans?
Well, the fans were phenomenal, and they always treated me well, and I think they treated anybody who gave them an honest effort well. I enjoyed Shea. I think it was very pitcher-friendly. The mound was always kept in phenomenal shape, and I just felt very comfortable there. The planes initially were an issue, but became very friendly because it seemed like there were more hitters stepping out when the plane flew over, trying to find their focus again. And I think that ended up being a positive. It helped. So it was an environment that was very friendly, and I enjoyed it.
John Matlack, thanks so much for sharing a few moments with us. I know Met fans of a certain age remember you very fondly here, and it's great to reconnect with you.
My pleasure, gentlemen. I enjoyed it.
That is John Matlack. What a classy left-hander he was, right?
He
that
really
perfect
was.
Motion of his.
Well, he had a little bit of a funky motion.
No,
but
he was smooth. He had a beautiful,
he could throw hard, though.
Smooth motion. It was like I was a youngster. I mean, John was already he came up in '72. I came up in '74. So it was like Severkuz and Matlack. And the Mets always have, you go in New York and you could get all three of them, and it wasn't anything better than those three. I mean, it was just as good a 1-2-3 punch of any staff in the National League.
Just remember that high leg kick of his that he would hide the baseball. My first spring training in the Texas Rangers uniform, I got to see John in spring training. He was on that ball club, and he couldn't have been nicer to me when I was green behind the ears, of course.
You know, we talked about the 2 terrific games he pitched in the World Series in '73, but he also shut out the Big Red Machine in Game 2 of the playoffs, a 2-hit shutout.
I mean, that's the one thing I take away. I mean, all of these aspiring pitchers, very few pitchers will have that many shutouts.
There's that incident we were talking about where Marty Perez's line drive hit him right in the forehead. He came back to pitch 11 days later.
Right, hairline fracture of his skull.
Anderson Simmons takes up an end.
My experiences against John, the one thing I remember was, and this is a true story, he had a great curveball and he threw hard, but he had a wicked slider, and he struck me out on a slider young, and I took it, and it just was knee-high outside corner, and I sat down on the bench, and Gibson walked over, and I went, what the heck is Gibson going to come over to talk to me about? And he leaned over and whispered in my ear, and this should be the 3rd out. Gibson goes, I bet you never saw a slider like that in AAA.
Thanks.
Well, Colon makes it through 7. Mets down 3-1 at the 7th inning stretch. Well, tonight after the postgame show, you can watch us take on the radio guys in a head-to-head battle of Mets trivia. Here's a sneak peek at the Battle of the Broadcasters presented by Citi.
Welcome to Battle of the Broadcasters presented by Citi. Here we go. Here we go.
I should know that.
Nice game, pretty boy. The radio guys are talking a lot of smack here.
I'm not talking smack. I want to go home.
Strike 3.
You're out.
I'm a little nervous, Kevin. That was amazing. This trophy is more closely guarded than the Stanley Cup.
Well, a good time was had by all. Can't tell you the outcome, but gave you a little taste of what it's like, especially the very campy Mr. Burkhardt as the game show host extraordinaire.
How about the skinny Mike? I mean, that made the whole day.
How about the Michael Jackson moonwalk?
Kevin was great. Howie had some real funny comments
with props. And
the radio guys were fantastic, and we did our thing, whatever that is.
We showed up.
Yeah. Show up. Even when people don't want us to show up,
we have
keep showing up.
We have the late inning clutch hitter on our side.
Well, folks, don't get discouraged early. I was 0 for 3 in the first round.
Well, the Mets still down 3-1 as Aaron Harang soldiers on to the bottom of the 7th. Eric Young in that 9-hole will lead off an inning for the 3rd time, so he really has been a leadoff guy in the 9-hole tonight. Bartolo Colon going down the tunnel. I don't necessarily think that means he's done. He's only at 87 pitches.
Well, I was thinking that this rarely happens. It happens in the American League, but being behind, he could pitch a complete game.
So it's worked out pretty good for Terry Collins today with Young in the 9-hole leading off every at bat.
Eric singled, stole a base, and scored a run in the 3rd. Tried to bunt for a hit and was thrown out by Harang in the 5th. Shea Simmons is up in the Atlanta bullpen. Carlos Torres continues to throw in the Mets bullpen. Corners in against Young, who takes a curveball for a strike. Young, Granderson, and Murphy in the home 7th.
And Harang continues to go to what he feels is his bread and butter, Ron, right now. That overhit curve. That 1-7.
What do you name that tune? You're trying to beat me in notes?
King of the clock hands. Stella throws out Young one away. Well, we've talked a lot about out-of-town injuries tonight with Yadier Molina and Brandon Phillips. News on Masahiro Tanaka. They're calling it a partially torn ulnar collateral ligament. Rehab for 6 weeks. Tommy John surgery possible, but not yet.
Wow.
It's hard to think in baseball right now of 2 players who mean more to their particular team right at the moment than Yadier Molina and Masahiro Tanaka. And now both out for the long term. 2-0 to Granderson, who's 0 for 3 tonight.
Tanaka has spent most of his career in Japan. Not a whiff of injury. Over here to U.S. professional baseball, and already has issues.
Anderson gets under one, and B.J. Upton patrols, and there are 2 out. Well, it's really reminiscent of the Mets losing Matt Harvey last year. Same kind of devastation to the injury, and that, of course, continuing to work its way back. This was earlier today.
What's the distance right there, Ron?
That doesn't matter. That is at some very fuerte. That's probably a little over 60 feet, maybe 70.
So the purpose of that is just to stretch them out?
Stretch it out a little bit, yeah. Stay on that flat ground for a while. Every once in a while they'll let you get on that mound. But
what is the purpose of staying on the flat ground?
I think you just want to ease into it. Once you get on the slope, Keith, for all pitchers, there's a part of you that wants to really let it go then. So I think to stop you from overthrowing, they keep you on the flat ground.
Mets on 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 7th. Still 3-1 Atlanta as we head to the 8th. As part of the City Teammates in the Community program, City hosts 5 City Kids events throughout the season, following a rotunda tour led by Jackie Robinson Foundation scholars. Young adults hear from sports and entertainment personalities. City also provides tickets for attendees to enjoy the Mets game at Citi Field. And there they are, sitting in section 107 with their blue teammate t-shirts. City is providing special seating to 50 individuals at every New York Mets home game. City community partners enjoying tickets this season, including City Harvest, United Neighborhood Houses, USO of Metropolitan New York, and the YMCA of Greater New York. SNY of City have joined together tonight to provide viewers with enhanced Mets content during Mets Plus. When you're at the ballpark, City enhances your experience with special benefits for card members. Let's take a look. Bartolo Colon back to the mound for the 8th inning. His pitch count is low. So is Aaron Harangues, for that matter. He's at 104 pitches through 7, but it looks like he's done. Meanwhile, Colon will try and negotiate the heart of the Braves batting order, trying to keep the Mets around in this game and hope that they can rally against the Atlanta bullpen. Boy, Harangues has certainly had the Mets number this year. 20 innings, 2 runs allowed, and only 6 hits in those 20 innings. Freddie Freeman takes ball 1.
There you go.
Teammates.
This guy's texting. He should be watching the ball game.
Especially since his guy's pitching. Freeman 2 for 3 tonight. And he drills one foul.
Freddie's had some very, very good swings off of Colon tonight, excuse me. He's been very aggressive. This is right down the middle.
It's too quick. One and one to Freeman. Freeman, with his 2 hits tonight, is 6 for 9 in his career against Colon.
You got a Mets uniform on. Freeman's going to wear you out.
Tries to crowd him, but he falls behind 3-1. Colon has not walked a batter tonight. Struck out 7. He's only allowed 1 base runner since the 4th. Braves got 2 runs in the first, 1 in the 3rd, and so far that's been enough. Freeman gets under one. And Lagares should have plenty of room.
Well, let's just put it in perspective. The first 4 innings gave up 3 runs on 9 of the 10 hits. So he's pretty much, from the 5th inning on, shut it down. Mets have been out hit 10-4.
The only hit he's given up since the 4th was a ball hit by B.J. Upton that, with a little more aggressive outfield play, might have been caught by Granderson in the right. Here's Justin Upton, 0 for 3. Struck out, grounded out twice, once into a double play, and he fouls off the fastball. 93 from Colon in the 8th inning.
That was that rare four-seamer you see from Colon.
Always seems to have a little bit in reserve.
Saw the ball run in and get him inside, just beat him.
Another fly ball for Lagares. 2 out.
When he's at his best, he'll just pitch you away and let you hit the ball to center field.
5 of the last 8 hitters have flied out to Lagares.
Tosses the ball, catches it barehanded, chewing on the gum, walking the park.
So 2 out. Now Jason Hayward, who drove in a run with a first inning single, 1 for 3 on the night.
Boy, he really, I'm talking about Hayward. Watch his stride. His stride is not smooth and fluid. It's a stab. It's a dart.
So Jordan Walden up in the Braves bullpen.
So are you saying that with a jab like that, does it make your head move a little bit, you think?
I don't know, but
Yeah.
I just see a lot of stiffness in his swing. I don't know if it's his shoulder. It's not the same swing he had when he came up. And he's going to have a difficult time with that stroke. I'm telling you.
Really hasn't been the same since he hurt his shoulder a few years ago.
And it just makes me wonder, because he's cutting across his body when he swings. He gets right to the point of contact, and you always want to extend your arms out. And he gets right to the before contact and brings it across his body in.
Slowly hit. Duda with the shovel, and Colon gets there too late.
That's good hustle. That's one thing Hayward brings to the ballpark every day, hustle. And let's see.
Very close.
I think his tie base goes to the runner, huh?
Oh,
he got him.
Yep. Terry Collins may challenge it, and he will. Terry's been waiting in the dugout to get more of an indication from the replay coordinator, Jim Kelly, before he comes out, so he's a little more ready for the decision. And that last image we showed certainly appears to indicate that Hayward was out.
Bartolo looked like he was testing cold water with that toe, just getting in it in time.
I thought it was an arabesque.
There you go. Well, now's when they show it on the board occasionally, so you'll see or hear a reaction from the fans.
Here's a different view.
I think you got him. Well, the fans think he's out.
Todd Titchener, the first base umpire, with the call on the field. And that appears to be the definitive view. That shows Colon's foot getting there before Hayward's.
I'm having a hard time with this. I'm sorry.
And the umpires appear ready to make a call, and they reverse it. Now, Terry's been red hot in this series. He's 4 for 4 on challenges. This one ends the inning. So instead of an infield hit for Hayward, the call is overturned. It's a 3-1 putout that ends the top of the 8th. Colon threw 8, but the Mets down 3-1.
guys, us, versus the radio guys, them, in a head-to-head battle of the booths to prove once and for all which broadcast team knows the most about the Mets. Battle of the Broadcasters, presented by Citi, premieres next after the postgame show, only on SNY. And Bartolo Colon threw 8 innings for the 4th time this year. He hasn't thrown a pitch in the 9th this season, and he says he's not going to do it today either.
He wants out. No, he said no. Don't take me out. I'm in. No, he wants out on the mound.
Oh, yeah. Misinterpreted that.
He's like, no, I'm not leaving this game. I'm going in. I got plenty left. Yeah, he says I want on the mound.
Okay. So he will throw a pitch in the 9th for the first time, unless his spot comes up. He's due up 6th in the inning.
He hopes his spot comes up.
If he does, he might have a chance to win. Jordan Walden will take over for the Braves as we go to the bottom of the 8th.
See his numbers this season. You know, Jordan Walden, when he's on, he's, dare I say, almost unhittable. And of course, he's the guy with the funky motion.
He's only faced one batter in this series, and that was David Wright in the opening game of the series, and he struck him out
with sliders.
Wright, Duda, and d'Arnaud against him in this inning. And he falls behind 2-0. Harang went 7, allowed a run on 4 hits, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts, 104 pitches. And Harang in line for his 9th win if the Braves can get him 6 outs. David reaching for one. And Freeman back for a look, but it's out of play.
Oh, don't get hurt over there, guys. Well, this is his motion. We've documented it. Regular leg kick, but watch that back right foot. He hops, jumps, and then hurls.
That is most amazing.
You know what he said about that? When he was younger, he was always told, push off, and he took it to the next extreme.
Jump off.
Yeah.
Ooh. Slider sits in for a strike, and it's 2-2.
It's almost his motion, Ronnie, is right there with the Fosbury flop.
Revolutionary. Now full count to Wright with Duda on deck. There's nobody up in the Atlanta bullpen. They've got just the one lefty, Luis Avilan, who's been so heavily used, and he was up earlier, but not now. There's ball 4, and Wright is on. And the Mets will get the tying run to bat here in the bottom of the 8th.
That's a no-no. That bodes well. Bodes bad for the Bravos.
So Wright is on base for the 3rd time today, and now Duda is 0 for 2 and a walk.
Don't you feel, if you're the Mets team, that you need to steal the game in this inning because of who they have that pitches the 9th? Got to get 2 at least this inning.
Duda the tying run at the plate. 0 for 5 in his career against Jordan Walden. Travis d'Arnaud, first time in the 5-hole after his recent success. He's on deck. And the breaking ball swung and missed, 1-1. And there is the aforementioned Mr. Kimbrel, getting ready for perhaps more than a 3-out save. Couple of sliders have Walden ahead on the count on Duda, 1-2.
I don't mind Lucas taking these kind of cuts. He's being aggressive. He's got to learn to lay off that slider down and in bad. He's got to recognize it. He's got to work on it in BP. Because what I want to say is, they know that he's swinging at that pitch. We've seen Lucas enough. They know he'll fish. The minute he stops fishing, guess what? He's 1-0.
Keith, how do you learn that in BP? How do you recreate a guy throwing 85-mile-an-hour sliders?
Well, you cannot recreate that. You can use the curveball machine, and your experiences at the plate, Gary.
That's the changeup. That's changeup from Walden. Nice block by Betancourt.
2-2 to Duda. Jammed him and he fouls it off.
He throws hard. That's a good fastball right there, Ronnie.
Braves bullpen has been an enormous key to their success this year and the last several years.
It's a lot of walks, though, for a bullpen. Right on first base with a walk here.
He'll be pitching throughout this inning unless he gets a double play with the tying run at the plate.
2-2 to Duda. And the breaking ball got him. That's the first out.
So when Lucas learns to lay off this, he gets out in front with off-speed breaking stuff and the hard stuff down and in. He's going to find himself in really, really good hitting counts. And he doesn't have to lose any aggressiveness at the plate if he works to recognize what's a strike, what the breaking ball, and what isn't.
So now it's d'Arnaud, who had the late home run last night. Travis 0 for 3 tonight. Twice has grounded to third and fly to center. Left 2 aboard to end the third. Left 3 on base to end the fifth. Now the tying run at the plate in the eighth.
Oh,
tough stop by Betancourt. 2-0.
Walden has been pitching behind in the count. This one he just spikes, hits before the plate. Nothing Betancourt could do there to make like an infielder.
Down to third, a foul ball.
And guarding the line, Pena. Now there's no tilde. Is it Pena? Is that how I pronounce his name?
Pena?
No, there's no tilde.
It should be.
Okay.
Some teams don't put them on.
Okay.
They don't use initials either for their Uptons and their Simmonses.
Well, you know, it should be a tilde if it's Pena.
You're correct. Because if it was a tilde in Hernandez, it would be Hernandez.
Don't even go there.
Yandes. Here's the 2-1. And that's drilled over that glove of Simmons. A base hit for d'Arnaud. And now the Mets have the tying runs on base.
Nice hitting. And this is what he has to do. He is going to be a catcher, a doubles hitting catcher, 15 home runs right down the pipe. He is getting that shorter stroke run, Gary. Not over swinging. He's a line drive hitter. Look at the shortstop. The shortstop on his heels. Did you notice that? Did you notice Simmons on his heels when that pitch was thrown? My goodness.
Well, Kimbrel is up. The question is, if he's up in the eighth, at what point would they go to him?
Well, to me, it's interesting that they might have had a change of heart in how to use Kimbrel. Remember him last year. He ended up in the bullpen when Juan Uribe hit a home run against David Carpenter. He was ready for the more than one inning save, and they never went to him. But here in July, they might.
Well, they've lost 4 in a row. They've fallen out of first place as a result. Walden's given up a walk and a hard hit single. Now the tying runs are on base for Juan Lagares, who doubled off the fence and left center in the second. Since then has flied out and grounded out. Right at second, d'Arnaud the tying run at first. 3-1 Atlanta, home 8th inning.
He doesn't like that one. He shook him off. All right, come on. Here we go.
Conversation.
We just had a conversation.
So we'll have another. Bring some coffee, a couple of donuts.
I'll tell you, this crowd is ready to react. They're a base hit away from going crazy.
Well, they came here looking for a sweep. They've been waiting for the big moment all night and hoping it's now. Now the slider bounces. Ball 1.
Always like late situations in the game, tight. There's Kimbrel.
Only 4 saves of more than an inning in his big league career.
Always good for the hitter if a pitcher misses in a tight situation late with a breaking ball.
Lagares pops it up. Freeman has room. 2 out. Disappointment for Lagares.
He got his fastball, Gary, up and out over the plate. He just popped it up.
Just enough away.
It was a pitch to hit. And a pitch that he likes out over the plate and go the other way.
That four-seamer just staying true on that outside part of the plate.
Who's that guy?
What is that?
Is that Art Fern?
Now Kirk Neuenhuis announces the pinch hitter for Ruben Tejada, and Freddie Gonzalez is going to bring his closer into the game. So Kimbrel will be asked to get a 4-out save. Mets have the tying runs on base in the bottom of the 8th, something he has rarely done in his career. Kimbrel will be asked to pitch more than 1 inning. So Walden got a big second out by retiring Lagares. And this is a priceless reaction by this fan. I don't know exactly where he's going with this.
Mom, do something with him.
That's one unhappy fan.
Well, he'll be on his phone now because he's infamous.
Well, it used to be that you'd see closers come in the 7th inning, but that's a long time ago. The Tony La Russa plan that's been in effect for the last 20 years in baseball has been only 3 outs, but there are special situations, and a losing streak, I guess, is a special situation.
Is a special situation Walden against Tejada, though? Is that the special situation that you need to make this move? That's surprising to me, but Kimbrel's the guy certainly that can do this. He hasn't done it a lot, and it's not even this out that he's trying to get here. It'll be the sit and going back out there and getting 3 more outs. That seems to me the difficulty for these guys because they get that adrenaline rush, and then they've got to recreate it again in the next inning.
I think it's something that this game needs to get back to, that the relievers are not trained to come in the middle of innings. And, of course, Gary, you mentioned it back 20 years ago, they certainly did. The days of Suter, Gossage, coming in with the ducks on the pond, and you have to get that big out. When it really meant, you looked at the reliever, and it really meant something. What their record was as far as first batters faced, that was really important. This is one of those situations.
You saw that Jordan Schaefer has come in the game in left field. He'll bat in the 9 hole. So Justin Upton comes out, and Kimbrel goes in the 4 spot. Neuenhuis, the pinch hitter for Tejada. Bobby Abreu on deck to bat for Colon if Neuenhuis can keep the inning going. Neuenhuis got a start last night and a big at bat, had the sacrifice fly that gave the Mets the lead in the 7th. Now he bats with 2 out and 2 on in the 8th, and the Mets down by 2. And Kirk takes up and away an off-speed pitch. 1-0.
Interesting.
A little spinner by Kimbrel.
Interesting. He didn't throw the heater. And if you're pinch hitting right now, you're looking dead red.
Because the Mets have been operating without a true backup infielder. That means Eric Campbell's going to have to play shortstop in the next inning. With Tejada leaving for the pinch hitter. And that one sails on Kimbrel, and it's 2-0.
It's just a whole different program, Gary, when pitchers got to come in with men on base as opposed to coming in with a 2-run lead, and you're protecting a 2-run lead with starting an inning. It's a whole different ball of wax when the ducks are on the pond.
Now Neuenhuis with the 2-0 advantage. And Kirk watches a strike on the outside corner at 97. Greg Kimbrel's going to the All-Star game again this year. It's his 4th year in the National League, and he's going for the 4th time. Only one other reliever has ever gone in his first 4 years, and that was Jonathan Papelbon.
Big pitch.
2-1 to Neuenhuis. And he misses. Oh, he caught the corner on the inside edge.
That was a strike. Down and in. Gotta be, can't be taken there. Gotta be hacking. You're going to get a fastball, let it rip.
Betancourt reaching for it. Still got the strike. 2-2. 4 outs of the Condor. Another one sails, full count.
Well, guess what? Runners in motion, the double will tie the ball game.
Abreu set to bat for Colon, and Neuenhuis can get it done.
Don't know what's going to happen here. He kind of liked the bench of the Mets, though, really putting up some quality hitters late in the game.
That's why they went to that 6-man outfield to enhance the bench. Runners get set to go. 3-2 to Neuenhuis. Tapper foul.
Kirk has tremendous power to left center field. He's going to get that fastball from Kimbrel away. He can shoot it that way.
I'm a bit surprised where Hayward is playing in right field for Pohl. Really, don't you think, Ron?
Yeah.
With a guy that throws as hard as Kimbrel, he may get a shade into that gap.
He goes back in that gap awfully well, though. Seventh pitch of the at-bat coming to Neuenhuis. Wright and Darno will take off. And Kirk goes down swinging on the fastball. So Kimbrel has to get 4 outs, gets the first one, and gets the Braves through the bottom of the 8th. We're heading for the 9th at Citi Field. While we wait, let's head to the studio where Chris Carlin is standing by with Major League highlights on Geico Sports Night.
All right, Gary, checking in on the Nats and the Orioles. Washington going for its 9th win in 11 games, bottom 3. That's Nelson Cruz hitting the ball, and that's not a very good throw from Ian Desmond trying to go to third. So the error charged to Desmond. 2-run score on the play, and then just a bit later in the 6th, Desmond doubling off the wall in right field. Ryan Zimmerman scores. As we speak, though, it's the Orioles with a 4-3 lead, bottom 8. How about the Pirates and the Cardinals? Josh Harrison trying to help the Pirates avoid the sweep in the 6th inning. It's the ground rule double to left center field, scoring 2. Pirates right now lead 8-1. In the bottom of the 7th. All the baseball highlights, plus, the ongoing saga that is NBA free agency. LeBron, Carmelo, when will they make it official? Ken Berger of CBSSports.com is going to join us with the latest on this seemingly never-ending drama. We've got that. The Nets making their trade official. Sweeney Murdy checking in on Masahiro Tanaka. And a big-name wide receiver in the NFL wants to be traded. Could the Jets be in the mix? It's all coming up after Battle of the Broadcasters. Gary, I know you can't wait for the latest on Melo and LeBron.
You know, that's going to be a tough act to follow right there after the Battle of the Broadcasters, Chris. I hope you're up to it.
Very nice duds you're wearing there, Chris. Purple, I like it.
Well, Craig Kimbrel cools his heels after getting 1 out, and now Eric Campbell will make his first major league appearance at shortstop. Mets make a double switch. Campbell will bat 9th, and Carlos Torres comes on to pitch, so Bartolo Colon will not get the opportunity for the rare complete game, perhaps, loss.
Well, Colon went 8 strong innings, but on the losing side so far. Torres has got to hold it here. Arms crossed.
By the way, Ronnie, we did the research. There has been 1 complete game loss in the National League this year. It was Cliff Lee back in April against the Braves. He went 9, allowed 11 hits, struck out 13, and lost 1-0. It's the only time it's happened in the National League this year. Tommy LaStella will lead off the 9th as the Braves look for some insurance for Kimbrel. Torres making his 2nd appearance in this series. He was the winning pitcher on Monday night, going 2 terrific innings when the Mets pulled one out in the 11th. Well, tomorrow the Marlins are in town to start a 3-game series here at Citi Field. Zach Wheeler against Henderson Alvarez. Our coverage begins tomorrow night at 6 o'clock right here on SNY. Apparently the changes for the Mets are straight up, which means the pitcher's spot is due to lead off in the bottom of the 9th. And I guess that's because Terry Collins would rather have Abreu up against Kimbrel than Campbell. So Campbell goes in the 7 hole and the pitcher stays in the 8 spot. Meanwhile, LaStella rifles one, and it's a snow cone for Lucas Duda for the first out.
Nice play by Lucas. Pure reaction. Ball ripped down the line. Step to your left. Piece of cake. Snow cone.
So one hard out and nobody on, and now Christian Betancourt, who's 1 for 3. Well, Bartolo Colon allowed 10 hits over 8 innings, but it was really 2 different games for him. First 4 innings, 3 runs, 9 hits. Last 4 innings, no runs, 1 hit. Didn't walk a batter all night, struck out 7, gave his team a chance again, but the Mets still 2 runs shy.
Well, I think it's gotten to a point now, 18 runs now in the first 18 starts in the first inning for Colon. I think he's going to have to really take a look at it and see if there's anything he can do to, I guess, be more precise early in the game. You know, we saw earlier in the year a lot of teams were taking pitches early in the game, just not doing it off Bartolo early, especially the first inning. How can you criticize 8 innings, 3 runs? That should work every single time.
It might yet tonight. And one sails on Torres, and it's 3-1.
That's twice Betancourt's had one close. Remember the ball that went behind him?
By the way, with Campbell coming in to play shortstop for the Mets, he's now played 5 different positions for the Mets. First, third, left, right, and now shortstop. Good fastball by Torres, 3-2. Ramiro Pena, the number 8 hitter, on deck. 3-2 coming to Betancourt, and he hits one out to shallow left center, and on comes Lagares for the second out. So 2 away now Pena. So in the bottom of the 9th, the Mets will have the pitcher's spot. That's probably Abreu, then Eric Young and Curtis Granderson, and if anybody gets on, Daniel Murphy. Always interesting when those closers have to go back out there.
It should be, Gare. You know, at the start of an inning, it's what he's normally used to. Just going out there with a 2-run lead to protect.
Coming up tonight after the game, it's WB Mason post-game live. Gary Apple, Bobby Ojeda in the studio with all the highlights, Terry Collins' comments, and everything else inherent to a post-game enjoyment. I wonder if the prospect of Battle of the Broadcasters boosts the ratings for the post-game show. What do you think? More people stay through the post-game show?
That's an all-star cast in that studio.
That's true. I mean, they're awesome in their own right.
I think that they're going to increase the ratings of the premiere.
That's a good point.
That's my feeling.
Two and 1 to Pena. And now Torres behind 3-1. Jordan Schaefer is in the 9 hole. He's on deck if Pena keeps the inning going. By the way, one more note on Campbell playing shortstop. He's played a total of 2 professional games at that position, both this year. 12 chances, 2 errors. And now his first big league inning. A 2-footer. Oh, it's a foul ball. Looked like it was close to the line, but home plate umpire Tim Timmons said foul.
You know, Ronnie, Torres has really looked sharp and crisp with his stuff Well, last three times out. Have you given him more rest?
Yeah, more rest has been the key.
And he's been really, really on top of his game. I know he wants to throw every day, but he's got to back it off a little bit. He's got to. And it's up to the manager and the pitching coach to take care of that.
Well, when you have pitchers going 7 innings, 7 innings, 7 innings, 8 innings, like the last 4 days, that really gives a lot of the bullpen a chance to rest.
There's ball 4 and Pena's on. Interesting you mentioned that, Ronnie, because the last time the Mets had 4 straight games where their starter went at least 7 innings, August of 2012. So it's almost 2 years ago. Colin McHugh, Jonathan Neese, R.A. Dickey, Jeremy Hefner in that case. And now these last 4 days, Daisuke Matsuzaka, Jacob deGrom, then G last night, and Colon today. And then it's in Zach Wheeler's hands tomorrow. Tonight, Jordan Schaefer bats for the first time. He's hitting just 182. That walk by Torres, the first given up by Met pitchers tonight, and that's lined right at Campbell, so he gets a chance at shortstop, his first in the big leagues, and handles it flawlessly. So the Mets will come to bat. Last licks in the bottom of the 9th, trailing the Braves 3-1. Time now for a look back at a Mets memory.
Roger's got a different mask. The second half of the year he comes to the park with around 5 different masks, rubber spiders, that sort of thing. He's loose, but he also dresses like he's from, he went to Dartmouth or Harvard. He's always this meticulous dresser. And he's out in the mound chewing bubble gum and blowing bubbles. It's kind of like he's got 2 separate personalities.
Talking, of course, about then Mets pitcher, now Braves pitching coach Roger McDowell.
One of my good buddies. Ronnie, he was one of the best, wasn't he? He really was. And, you know, there were lots of hijinks for Roger. And that was the kind of person he was until the game started. And he didn't get more serious than he did when he came in the game. And that year he had an 86. He won 14 games, saved 22, pitched over 100 innings. And those 5 innings he threw in Houston in that extra inning game was good as it's ever been. What was it, 5 one-hit innings?
I believe that's right.
Yes, and pitching going out there, and he gives up a run, we lose. We got Mike Scott the next day. He did not have a great World Series. He left it in Houston in Game 6. Yeah, he just was, everything was asked for him.
What everybody wants to know about the hot foots. Did he ever get either one of you with the hot foot?
Come on.
Didn't get me.
Come on.
He wouldn't dare try to get me.
Are you serious?
He wouldn't dare. I'm very serious when I was playing. Sorry. You get the bench players.
But he got a lot of guys.
I was more of an instigator. Boy, that guy looks like he'd be a good person to maybe hot foot over there.
Not you.
Silent assassin.
Right.
Ronnie's the guy when the kid that got in the cookie jar and everybody else gets blamed.
Yeah, that is true. Ask my brothers.
Well, he's the oldest brother.
That's how it
away
rolls.
with everything, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be Bobby Abreu to bat, and this is odd. Chris Young on deck to pinch hit for Curtis Granderson. So is something wrong with Granderson? Wait a second. There's Granderson right there. Oh, I'm sorry.
Eric Young.
Eric Young.
Eric Young.
Next. It's that pitcher hitting 8th thing.
I know.
Yeah, we got you confused.
So you got Chris Young to bat for Eric Young, but that's odd too. Why would you do that against Kimbrel?
Especially when you need base runners, right?
Well, he's got a very small sample of success against Kimbrel.
It hasn't been announced, but if Abreu gets on, Chris Young supplies some top.
Right, but what if he doesn't get on?
Then I would stay with Eric Young.
I think so too. So first it's Abreu, and a fastball in for a strike. Well, we'll see how Abreu fares after the in-game interview. I don't think we've had anybody bat after an in-game interview. Bobby started yesterday in left field, went 0 for 2 and a walk. That's would have to get 2 men on to get David Wright to the plate here in the ninth. Now the 1-2. Too high. Kimbrel bidding for his 28th save. He began the day tied with Trevor Rosenthal and Frankie Rodriguez for the National League lead. Two coming. Abreu slaps one right at the shortstop. And Simmons throws him out, one away. Kimbrel not only leads the National League in saves, he is the Braves' all-time saves leader, blew by John Smoltz earlier this year. You know, when the Braves were winning those 14 straight division titles, that was the one area where they always struggled, finding the reliable closer. They finally found one in Mark Wohlers, and he let a potential World Series victory get away.
Leyrit's home run, right?
And he never recovered.
Now Chris Young bats for Eric Young. I know he's got small sample results, but this is a very odd move.
You need a base runner to come back. But maybe just saying he has 2 hits. That means something against Kimbrel, who seems unhittable at times.
Eric Young, on the other hand, 0 for 2 against Kimbrel, as opposed to Chris Young's 2 for 3.
Keith, you need a base runner here. Do you take 2-0?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Trying to get a board for Granderson. He cracks one deep, but foul. Well, don't hit it a long way.
Well, 2-0, we're going to throw it down the pipe. He needs a strike.
Beats him upstairs, 2-2. Now the way the Mets have hit 2 pinch hit home runs this season. One for Ike Davis, one for Lucas Duda. It's going to need a home run right now. They need a base runner. Granderson on deck. Out to center field, and B.J. Upton right there. 2 out. So the Mets are down to their final out of the night. And it'll be left to Granderson, who's gone 0 for 4 tonight. Granderson 0 for 3 in his career against Kimbrel, trying to keep it alive with Murphy on deck. And takes a strike. Aaron Harang went 7, allowed a run on 4 hits. The Mets have just not been able to touch Harang. 3 starts, 20 innings, 2 runs, 6 hits. And he's in line for the win if Kimbrel can finish it off.
His 9th win for that. Ooh, there's the wicked breaking ball.
And now the Mets are down to their final strike.
Look at this run.
That's the first good one he's thrown. I mean, when you're throwing 97, 98 miles an hour, that's can't react to that pitch.
Mets and Marlins tomorrow night. 1-2 to Granderson. The pop-up shallow center. On comes B.J. Upton. And the ball game is over. Kimbrel gets the 4-out save for Aaron Harang. The Mets' 4-game winning streak comes to an end, and they're denied their 4-game sweep of the Braves.
Boy, that was the huge game tonight for Freddie Gonzalez and his Braves. Mets could have got it all the way down to 6 with a 4-game sweep. Back to 8 now with the work of Kimbrel and Aaron Harang, who was just spectacular tonight.
Well, just too much Harang today and Kimbrel to finish it off. And Colon again off to an early struggle. But 3 out of 4 from the Braves, you'll take it. After 2 out of 3 from the Rangers, bring on the Marlins.
So the Braves win at 3-1. Game summary brought to you by Citi. Harang just a little better than Colon, who got off to another difficult start, and that was enough to beat him on this night as the Braves salvaged the finale of the 4-game series. Tonight's Mets Plus telecast on SNY is brought to you by Citi, the preferred card of the New York Mets. Final score tonight, Atlanta 3 and the Mets 1. Tomorrow night the Mets open a 3-game series against Miami. Zach Wheeler against Henderson Alvarez. Our coverage begins tomorrow night at 6 o'clock right here on SNY. Now for Ron Darling, Keith Hernandez, Steve Gelbs, and our entire SNY crew, I'm Gary Cohen at Citi Field. After this break, it's WB Mason post-game live with Gary Apple and Bobby Ojeda.